This episode is brought to you by Anivia Pickleball, your premier destination for high-quality pickleball paddles designed to elevate your game. At Anivia, they are committed to providing players across Canada with innovative, performance-driven pickleball paddles crafted for durability, precision, and ease of play. Irene and myself are currently using their Gen 3 Pro paddle, and if you head over to Anivia.com and enter the code AGorman15, you get 15% off your order. That's AGorman15 at Anivia.com. All right, on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pickleball Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Gorman, joined, as always, by certified pickleball referee Victor Chan. Well, Vic, we just had the CNPL Draft, which we got to host, which was a lot of fun. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Weather's doing better, so my mood also is feeling better.
I've been getting freezing rain up here in Peace River, so the weather has not been as nice.
Well, we did got freezing rain, but it was quite warm. I think it hit almost 6 degrees in Edmonton, so it melted down pretty rapidly in the afternoon.
Yeah, no, we didn't get that here. It was freezing rain and then -5.
Oh,
so like
yeah,
my truck would just look like a sheet of ice had encapsulated it. So, but yeah, that's northern Alberta. It's typical, but
yeah.
Anyways, like we said, this is the CNPL draft recap for season 4 of the CNPL. And Vic, this was I want to say this was one of my we hosted last year's draft, which was fun. This one definitely had a bunch of twists and turns that we didn't necessarily see coming, and you kind of got to see a couple of the teams going in the mode of, okay, we're aiming for I don't want to say quantity over quality, but almost like stockpiling quality in quantity. You know what I mean?
Well, we were able to talk to some of the owners, so we got some of the insight from them, like how they're picking and how they want to pick those players. So that's why I think some of the other players actually talk to me. They watch the draft. They say, "Oh, why you're not surprised of this guy getting picked or this guy's not getting picked?" I was like, well, we got a little insight of it, so we kind of knew a little bit what is going on. Yes, we're still surprised about some of the picks, some of the drama that's coming with it, but at the same time, I'll say this pick has been quite. I would say there's more action than what the previous pick were.
Yeah, it was almost more so like we had a good idea of which players were being targeted. It was more so the order in which they were targeted type of thing in the draft. Like we knew, like, for example, we were really sure that Bruno was getting picked. We were really sure that like Kelsey Grambo was getting picked, Abika was getting picked, and so on. It was just which teams they were going to and how high up in the draft. And then there was other players who we were sure they were getting picked, but then they got picked way down in the draft, like Brad Chapman and stuff, right? So it was and it was funny because as much as we talked to some of the owners, we had conversations with a few of them, and I don't want to say names, but there was a couple of them where I said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure this team's going to go for this person." They were like, "Well, that no one's even talking about that person," and then that person, and then that team picked that person. So I was like, "Oh, see, I know what I'm talking about," type of thing, right? So, like when you said, "Oh, we weren't surprised," I was like, I would have just said we're smart.
Maybe, or we have better insight.
We had insight, and we have a few decent sources who we had a rough idea of who they were going. But and we're also this is the 4th year covering this league. We're very familiar with the Canadian athletes. The only ones we weren't 100% sure about was some of the U.S. players and international players, and even some of those ones we were pretty sure they were going. Which the question was just who's taking them type of thing, right? Like I think there was only like 2 or 3 people that got picked this year that I wasn't, what I would say, over 80% sure of who this player was and what they bring to the table. Everyone else, I was like, "Okay, I am well aware of who this person is." It was just, "Okay, who's picking this person?" type of thing, right? But so let's get right into the draft here. So the Rapids, formerly Pronghorns. So I guess we'll talk with that announcement first. The Pronghorns finally got a new name. It's the Grand River Rapids, and the logo is awesome. I really like the logo. So shout out to the team there. And they had the first overall pick, so they went with international player Bruno Fatillo. I apologize, Bruno, if I'm saying that name wrong. We'll find out we'll find out at the first event when the announcers announce it. So I'll pronounce it correctly after that. I think there's at least one or two people every year where I totally butcher their last name. But Vic, what's a little bit of background on Bruno here that people should know about when watching him?
Yes. So basically, he's if you're looking if you're looking on Instagram, especially on Duper, he's actually one of the well, he's the #1 player in Chile. So that's for sure a fact. And another thing is he's amongst the top 5 Duper rank in South America, along with obviously Federico Staxgroup, Pablo Teles, and so on. So he's a very good player. He obviously has some tennis background. He was playing in college tennis at St. Leo University. Right now, he's mostly playing at the APP down there to US. And another thing that you might see him very very frequently on social media, because he's also one of the 6-0 paddle signed player. So that also shows that he's really good. And one more thing about him, one of his big achievements, he's won the first PBA Challenger that happened last year, men's double. So he won one goal on that on that tournament. So it basically shows that he's definitely someone with great skills, and we're actually happy that he's able to come over to Canada to play. And at the same time, I want to also shout out, I think it Grand River Rapids that has that big like almost war zone kind of command center kind of
they had if you watch the draft, it looked like what when you watch like a NFL or NBA or NHL draft where they're showing the war room. So they had big TV. They had the big TV screen. You could see some of the players that they had already pre-signed, like Lucas Wong sitting in the background. They'd come up and do the announcements. The only thing we ran into an issue with them is because they were doing it that way, they didn't have like headphones on. So when we went to ask them, it took until I think their 3rd or 4th pick where we were able to actually ask them questions about their pick.
Yeah, exactly. But big shout out to them. I was like, oh, that looks nice. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that was a pretty good draft room.
Yeah, exactly. No, it looked really good. So shout out to Bruno and the Rapids. That's an insanely good pick. And we figured Bruno was going in the top, I want to say 5 for sure.
For sure. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And then 2nd overall pick, this was one of the worst kept secrets if you were paying attention on Instagram and stuff. But the Vancouver Owls picked Kim Layton. No surprise there. She had literally just signed with their paddle company, Owl Pickleball. She trains with Anna Dashenko all the time. And also she at the last Canadian Nationals, she had teamed with Armand at Nationals, and they got silver in mixed doubles, right? So like she already has familiarity playing with Armand. She has familiarity playing with Anna, and it just made sense with this pick. The biggest question for us was she going to go number 2 or was she going to go with their number 6 pick? Right.
Exactly.
So that was the biggest thing, because we were pretty sure she was getting picked. We weren't 100% sure about after that who they were going for, because there was the next 3 picks after this really changed the landscapes of I think of how certain teams drafted because of who got picked and what happened. But yeah, that's a great pickup by the Owls. Kim's this is gonna be her 4th year in the CNPL. Multinational champion, the best female player in Alberta. And like we said, 2 silvers last year in mix at the Nationals with Armand. So literally like already familiar playing with him. So there's already chemistry there. And like we said, already chemistry playing with Anna. So no surprise with that pick.
Yeah, definitely a formidable pick. And it's going to be also, we can say, like, we're going to see some teams going to go with familiarity of the players, or some team was gonna actually go the differently. They probably want to shake up a little bit and pick up that higher level player in the States, or actually some other teams gonna go more towards like team player, and how they already know that player at like players performance has been already during the last couple of seasons in CNPL.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the early picks that this pick actually jumped around a couple times because it was originally owned by the Drive.
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, by the Lights, and then went to the Drive.
Yeah.
And then the Drive gave it to traded it to Toronto United. So Toronto United, we were like, okay, this was again one of the worst kept secrets. Now leading up to the draft, there was a possibility that they were going to go. At least the rumor mill was saying they might go in a slightly different direction. But we were like, okay, if you're going to go from the 10th overall pick up to the 3rd, this was one of the only people that kind of made sense to draft.
There's a reason why they do that. Yeah.
Exactly, right. And that's Maria Kokolinski, CPA Triple Crown winner, multiple APP semifinals appearances, PPA main draw. She's an insanely good player, originally from Canada, but I think she's living down in the States right now and playing all the time. Yeah, big powerhouse of a player. And like every time I've watched her play at tournaments, she's always like her whoever her partner are always dominating the court. And like we said, if we would have been surprised if Toronto United picked someone else, and I said if you picked anyone else, especially another female, aside from like one or two of the U.S. players, I was like, why did you trade up for this pick?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas like this was who we thought they were going for, and it was almost like when we heard rumors that they might lean a different way, I was like, if you go a different way, you're almost galaxy braining it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No,
you're overthinking other than going with, okay, this is one of the best players available. We've been interested in this player for a long time. Let's just, do what we said we were going to do and pick this player. Because on paper now they have one of the strongest teams in the CNPL, if not the strongest on paper. Right.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that's kudos to Ricky making those trade, and then actually going for the person that you're actually thinking is gonna go, because now think about it. You have Maria and you have Jada on top of that. Wow, that women's team is gonna be stacked, and then you look at that, you look at the mix. Holy crap! That those two women's gonna be so strong on both ends, and you don't want to face them in Dreambreaker. Both of them, because both females gonna be super strong. Like they're gonna be able to go against the men, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so that's a great pick by Toronto United. Like we said, that's making that trade and then going with the person they thought they were gonna get basically propels them into like I said, on paper, probably up in the top 2 teams for who you think is going to finish first overall by the end of the season. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Then the Rapids had their next pick at the 4th overall pick, and they went with Marie-Christine Salves, who of course played on the Northern Lights last year with Dani Boss and Joelle Pelletier, and insanely good slice shots and spins. Very, very high level player. And by the end, like we said, the Lights by the end of the year became an insanely formidable team. Her and Joelle were an insanely strong mixed team. Her and Dani were an insanely strong women's team. So the Rapids making that pickup, and now she's going to be teaming with Antoinetta, who I think they play together on a regular basis. You have Antoinetta's power and then her ability to like spin everything. It's an insanely good pickup by the Rapids. Like I think the Rapids knocked their first pick the first overall pick and the 4th overall pick out of the park with these 2 picks.
Yep. Definitely. She's gonna be a awesome complement to Antonetta, right? So like, especially if your plan is having Antonetta as your number 1 female, you need someone to complement her on that. And there's definitely a no-brainer. You want to pick Mary Christine there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go to the 5th pick, and this was where things kind of took a big twist here because the pick was originally the Lights that they had received from the Drive when they traded with the Drive to go or come down from 3 to 5, and then of course that Drive trading that to Toronto United. So the Lights then traded this pick again to move down, and they gave it to the Smash, but instead of for a pick, they got Jessica Kawamoto out of it, which is great trade there by the Lights to get Jessica Kawamoto, but then also great trade by the Smash, because with that pick, they went and got Mark Clemenson.
Exactly.
And we all know how good of a player Mark Clemenson is. He's been one of the top male players in the CNPL since the CNPL started. And the big thing is now you're teaming him up with Ryan Torrenson, so you have an insanely strong left side player with Ryan Torrenson, and then you have Mark Clemenson, who's basically the king of the right side of the court.
Yeah.
Teaming. So that's an insanely strong men's team right off the bat. And then so now you have Mark, Ryan, you have Anne Sophie. So now it's just, okay, who are they going to grab for that? At this point, who are they going to grab for that second female? And then this is already like a stupid strong team, right? And then, like we said, Mark and Ryan have played together at tournaments before, so they have the familiarity with each other.
Yeah, they know each other, so that I will say, I don't think it's a gamble. I think to trade Jessica Kawamoto out. Obviously, her and Ryan has been the number one mixed team last year. They have almost won everything, but at the same time, they, like, if you think about how it went last year, they won most of their mix, but they did not won most like the men's and the men's double part was not able to compensate enough in order for them to like make a push in the playoff, or even to win the bracket at the playoff. So I think it is a good change, because otherwise they're gonna be still stuck with the same problem. Oh, I have a good mixed team and that's it.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, if like we've said with some sports teams, me being a fan of the Maple Leafs, even though you have a strong area of your team, repeating the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So, like, they're taking a chance and breaking up that insanely good mixed pair, but you're trying to bolster your men's team, and then with a switch up with their women's side now to change up their women's one, because like we said, Jessica and Ryan were the best mixed team the last 2 years, but then there was always drawbacks on whichever team they were on, with either the men's or the women's team not being quite sufficient enough to keep the team in it, right? So it's gonna the Smash are gonna be a very interesting team to watch this year, because it's almost, aside from Ryan Torrenson now, it's a complete facelift, right? So it's gonna be very interesting to see how it goes.
Yes, definitely. And then next one we have, actually, what was it? The Owls.
The Owls go with Kelsey Grambeau from the States. And this surprised us, because we're like, okay, they got their 2 top women. Right, so we thought they were going to go with another with the men and get their top 4 settled out, but this was the start. No. This particular pick was the start of a trend where, because of the rule change with the substitution rules, we were wondering, okay, how many teams are going to try to do the win by committee team and stack a certain team, right? Because it's like now with the substitution rule is you can you put your 4 players in. And last year it was like the only time you can sub someone out is if it's an injury, and it has to be after the match, their particular match they're playing is over. Yeah. Right. There was no other way to sub someone in. So say if someone's having a bad game, you couldn't sub them out. The rule change now is you can sub the person in, or sub a person in, but then that other person can't come back in. But what you can do is strategize. And so say if you have, like, for example, if we're going to go women here, you have 3 really strong women, but 2 in particular are insanely good singles players. Right. And say the other one, who's maybe not as strong of a single player, is insanely good at women's doubles. So the way you would do your lineup then is, okay, we're going to play our gender doubles first. We're going to then sub that woman out, have the other woman come in and play the mix, and then if we do end up going to the tie break, we have 2 insanely strong single players. Yep. And this kind of mindset is, I think, what the Owls were going for here with the pickup of Kelsey, because now you have Kim Layton, Kelsey, and Anne Dashenko. That's 3 insanely strong female players to bolster this Owls offense. And, like, Vic, I'll let you do some background on Kelsey, but yeah, she's an insanely good player.
Yeah, basically she's actually grew up in Australia. So before actually coming to the States, after that she played fairly high level pro event in the States. before the tour war, she was actually playing at the PPA, and she was already picked by the New York Hustler from the MLP Challenger series team. So they already recognize her. She is a very, very good player. Obviously, after the tour war, she decided just to stick with APP. So she has been playing on the APP Pro Tours for a while, and she's also another 6-0 signed player. So obviously definitely not a doubt that she's a very skilled player.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we move on to the 7th pick, and because the Smash traded Jessica, they didn't have to lose this other high pick, so they got 2 picks in the top 10.
Yeah.
They went with Abika, Cal Severa.
Yeah, that's close enough, I guess.
I apologize, Abika. Like we said, we'll wait for the first event to happen when the announcer says it, and then because this year on the draft, Commissioner Mike wasn't announcing all the names; it was the teams themselves.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go off of what Mike had said to do the pronunciation. But another insanely good player, super high, duper scores. Won the PPA Challenger in Rally in the women's main draw. Just back in December here, Vic, like what else was she up to? Because she's an insanely good player here for the Smash.
Yeah, technically in Asia, she has the highest duper in Asia. So she's number 1. Second is actually Alex Trong. If you know her, a PPA player that from Vietnam that has been playing on the PPA tour very extensively. So you have her be above Alex Trong means something that she's actually definitely is very 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 strong, right? So she's what Kyrgyzstan. I don't know how I pronounce
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
maybe.
So
I once again apologize to the people of that country. It's the Anglophone in me.
Yeah, it's the Anglophone of us. We're not as familiar. We're sorry about that. But yeah, so she definitely very insane player. She has already played, got into semis actually with Bruno Valletto. So there you go. So the people, obviously people from the CNPL has already been watching her, and definitely now you have 2 very strong women at the Smash now.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we move on to the Yeti, so formerly the Southwestern Ontario Brewers. With the 8th overall pick, they went with Tara G. Giuseppe, who, once again, returning player. I think this is her 3rd year now in the CNPL. Played on the Brewers last year. Started off as kind of like the 3rd female, and then took over as kind of the main female. Really helped David Callis along last year. And one of those ones, and this was a big theme for the Yeti, was they were picking players that, one, they were familiar with, but also each player was familiar with each other, and you already had that good team chemistry build. Right? And like I've said this to Vic before off camera, but like a team with insanely good chemistry has the insanely high ability to be able to punch up above their weight class. So even though if you look at them on paper, that in comparison to say someone like Toronto United, they don't necessarily look as strong, but they already have that locked in chemistry of very well. And the other thing is very well-rounded players, right?
Definitely.
And that's Tara to a T there, with very well-rounded. She doesn't really have a super weak point in her game. She's good at resets. She's got decent drives. She's very good at singles, right? So it's one of those players who can just go in on that team, fill right into the gap, and be able to assist whoever she's playing with. So it's just a really good team pickup by the Yeti there. And you're going to kind of notice that with the rest of their picks going along the way. The big theme of team player and very, very well-rounded, and they're able to kind of mold and figure out what the team's identity is going to be right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna do that's from Brett, their owner. That's his philosophy. Going towards his pick rather than actually going to an unknown. We say an unknown entity. Not saying none of all the players that has been picked beforehand are unknown entity, but they haven't been. Most of them hasn't play in the CNPL tour, right? So therefore, you don't know how they actually perform into a team environment. You have seen them in the APP, you have seen them in PPA, but how do they play now with whatever player that has been matching up, right? You don't know. So
Yeah, exactly. And Tara's just gotten better as the years have gone on too. Like we said, she started off as in her first year as kind of a third stringer, ended up getting the starting position in the playoffs, and then same thing last year. She was like that. Her and Ava were originally kind of rotating
yeah,
games, and then as the team got better and better, her and Ava just kind of took over the starting spot, and then just went from there, right? So, just continues to get better and better and better as the seasons go on. Then we go to number 9, the number 9 pick for the Lights. So Luis Kwong, from the States, another insanely good tennis player with a tennis background. I has only been playing for how many months, Vic? Like 7 or something like that?
yeah, around 7 months, I think. But at the same time, I think Michael Chow was telling us they saw how Toronto United had that game with Jada, and so therefore they say, hey, it worked out pretty well. Why not replicate it? So that's the reason why they went with Louis Kwon.
Yeah, and apparently Luis Kwong is actually very good friends with Jada, so I wouldn't be surprised if has done training and stuff with her as well. And like we said, with the tennis player thing, like we've seen it work with Jada, we've seen it work with Anne Sophie, right? If they put in the work, they already have that natural built-in like knowledge of how court play and angles and stuff work. Right. So as long as they put in the work and work at it, like you used to watch Jada last year, like last year at the beginning of the season, the first thing you could say about Jada, insanely powerful, insanely good ground strokes, insanely good at singles, was a little bit weak once you got up to the kitchen line. By the end of the season, that weakness had vanished, right? She became one of the best players in the CNPL, and her and Max were almost unstoppable, right? So Light's kind of going for the same thing with Luis with that pick, and like we said, they already had Dani Boss signed, right? Yep. So and picked up Jessica Kawamoto in the trade. So now you once again 3 super strong female players who you can kind of rotate in and out to like fill whatever gap you need fixed, right? And because former tennis background, someone you're going to want in singles when you go to tie break.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. 10th pick now. Is the Drive. Well, technically it was Toronto United, but actually they did that flip flop. So now we have Una Penderevic. Sorry, Una
Penderevic.
Penderevic.
I'll say Penderevic. Yeah. But yeah, once again, insanely good player. Once again, tennis background, college tennis player. And then she has actually played a lot in the APA. Yes. And has picked up quite a bit of hardware, right, in the open categories, Vic?
Yes, she did multiple, at least 3 to 4. So she's definitely not someone that's unknown to the owners. So that's why I think that's the reason why they pick her up, knowing that she's actually has like a tremendous success in the Ontario region.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so and I was going to say, for especially because of the APA circuit, now it is, like we said, this year branching out to the rest of Canada, but anyone who plays high level on the APA circuit, you're going to be well known by Ontario owners.
Oh, yeah,
right?
For sure.
So you'll notice that a lot with some of these other picks here, where a lot of people have played APA, and basically that almost acts as a secondary scouting report for a lot of the Eastern owners, right? So. Then we come up to the defending champs, back-to-back champs, the Lions, with their first pick at pick 11. This again was one of the worst kept secrets, at least for me and Vic, because as soon as I saw this person was in the draft, I was like, they're going to the Lions unless someone else picks them first, and that's Ariana Rodriguez. She's from the States, but she has played a crap ton with Christina Chin, and they've been very, very, very successful. As a female team, so that like once again creates like a powerhouse with the Lions with their top 4, because of course you have Esther and LC coming back, you have Christina, and then now you add Ariana. So like multiple PPA main event draw appearances. Like we said, whenever Christina's down playing in the States, this is normally who she's playing with her. This is normally who she's playing with, right? So like And they actually, and she, when the CPA happened, her and Ryan Torrenson actually got silver in the mix because she teamed with Ryan Torrenson there, and then also played insanely well in the women's side of things. So it's I honestly was expecting her to sign up for the CNPL last year. And so like when I saw her sign up this year, I was like, okay, yeah, she's getting picked. Wherever Christina is, that's where she's going.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Unless someone else grabs her first, right? So there was no surprise with that pick. And now, like we said, the Lions have basically they lost Stevie and Anne Sophie, and they've replaced them with two equally powerful women. So
Yes, definitely. And I was just a little surprised that no one tried to break up that team. Like no other team tried to actually just do something fishy. Okay, let me just take Adriana, so we're not gonna get Christina teaming with her or something like that. So and anyway, we knew that when the Lions were like, oh, there you go. She's still available for sure. They gotta go after her.
yeah, exactly right. And then the 12th pick for the Rapids, they went with Darren Harand Wang. Returning CNPL player because claimed during free agency in 2024, right?
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he played a couple of games for time the Smash,
at that time,
the old Smash,
the old Smash, was East
Toronto Smash Toronto Smash or something. Yeah, he played a couple of games there. When they had some player injuries and stuff, and played really well. Same thing, APA medalist, pro instructor at the High Sports facilities in Ontario. So
there you go.
Really well known in the area, constantly competing at a high level with all the other pros. So no surprise there that he got picked up again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then we move on to the Lights. This was another pick they had received from the Drive, and they went with Ben Davis. And this was one where we were like, "How is this guy still on the board?"
Yeah, that's right? I feel like he's one of the steal of the draft. You're like, why the hell this guy is still available?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
I think the reason why he fell so low is because everyone kind of went with the stockpiling of female players, right? That was our kind of the only reasoning I had for why he wasn't like in the top 5, top 6, right? But like insanely good player, former college tennis player at Mercyhurst University, 4 times APA medalist, 3 golds, instructor and assistant manager at Innapickle Club in New York. The Lights with like those picks, all of a sudden now look like, especially on paper, look insanely strong. Like you got Ben teaming up with Joelle. You got Luis Kwong coming in. You have Jessica Kawamoto. Like all of a sudden now the Lights,
Danny.
You got Danny. Like it's scary looking, right? And we'll get to the full team breakdown in a bit. But that like this one, like we even said to Michael Chow when he came on, we're like, Mike, did you think he was gonna follow this one? He was like, nope.
Right? Well, I was a little worried about the Lights at some point when they let go Lucas Wong. I was like, oh, who's they gonna replace with Lucas, right? So like, yes, there's a lot of good men's, but still, like you just let go one of your top pick from last year. So what you gonna replace? And they're like, okay, yeah, you have Ben Davis. It's like, you should be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Exactly right. And then for the 14th pick, I was super stoked when this got announced. And this is how you know that the Owls knew this person was going to fall and why they went with Kelsey Gambo right away.
Yes.
McConnor Dye. So this kid is like 15, 16 from BC. I watched him. I got to meet him last year when I went to the qualifiers in Vernon, and I was already like, I don't know how this kid's not going to get picked last year, right? Yeah. Since then, he has gone on to win multiple open categories in the BC area. He won gold in singles at nationals, beating out his now teammate Armand in the finals.
Yeah.
Trains regularly with Armand. This, like I said, 15 or 16 years old, but this kid honestly has a head on his shoulders like he's a 35-year-old man. At least as far as understanding the game, not getting frustrated, and like just staying focused the whole time. Like if you want a good insight on McConnor Dye, just ask Michael McCaffrey.
Yeah, exactly.
He thinks the world of this kid. This kid is base. I want to say he's this. You're looking at kind of the future of pro pickleball in Canada with this kid,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Insanely good player, and I it pisses me off. I'm still mad at myself. He needed a partner for the one event at nationals, and I was too shy to reach out to him. And then
Keaton.
And then Keaton snatched him up, and I was like, God damn it! And they ended up and they ended up getting bronze. And Keaton was like, yeah, he carried me the entire way because Keaton
at the same time,
Keaton's about the same level as me and Vic, right? And so and they were playing open.
Got something more than you. Keaton know him from Spikeball, so they know each other.
No, but I also knew him from Vernon, and I had the in with my wife being Filipino and already meeting his mom.
Oh,
right.
There we go.
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I was because I saw that he needed a partner, and I was sitting there because my partner had backed out at the time, and I was like, do I message him and say, hey, McConnor, I'm normally a right side guy anyways. I'll let you take I'll let you take as much court as you want, right?
I'll let you cook,
right? And I chickened out, and then and then him and Keaton ended up getting bronze, and I'm like, damn it, that could have been me, type of thing, right? Not that he would have said yes necessarily, but I was like, okay, I already have a familiarity. He will know who I am when I message him, type of thing. So, but no, great kid. I'm super excited for this kid. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. That definitely. Well, I'll say makes sense. Like, definitely, I will say most of the teams, since most of the team are from Ontario, they probably never saw McConnor.
Unless you went to nationals, or were paying attention to some of the pro events or some of the other events like the Western PPA events that were going on, because he did go down to a couple of those. You weren't going to know who this kid was, because I remember asking one of the things, I was like, is there any talk about McConnor Dye? And he's like, who's that? And I'm like, okay, if he's getting taken, it's the Owls taking him. And it'd be a really smart pick. And I almost want to say, I want to tell McConnor right now, McConnor, I vouch for you, because I messaged the Owls on Instagram before the draft ever happened saying, hey, you should look at this kid for your team. They never responded to me, but I'm just saying I threw it out there way ahead, like back in like November type of thing. So
nice.
Then number 15, the smash up again, and they go with Natalie Araya. And this was funny because when the trade happened, my stutter came out in full length, and I think I called her great like 6 times on the broadcast, like back to back to back to back to back. I was like, great pick, great, yeah, she's great. And so she actually captured that and then posted. She goes, and she's like, apparently I'm great, right? Like, so. But we love Natalie. She's an insanely good player. See, I'm gonna try my best to use my thesaurus properly and use anything other than that word right now. So, but an awesome player, returning player, left-handed, D1 college tennis player, and insanely good drives. Like, oh my god, like and it's funny because she's a I don't want to say small, but most of the females standing next to me look small because I'm, almost 6'1" and I'm fairly stocky. But for her size, she is just a freaking spitfire and like can power that thing like crazy. Super nice. She came over and introduced herself to us 2 years ago at the championships when they were in Edmonton, and that's a really good pickup by the Smash. And they just added another singles powerhouse to that team. Right. Definitely. So and she can sub in with anyone and play insanely well. Yeah. So and the big thing with subbing her in is now you have 2 forehands in the middle. So and she's really good at not, like, when she's playing mixed, not necessarily taking more than she needs to, but then you run into that problem where if the guy lets it go to her, you better watch out because she's just going to cream you with it, right? So super stoked for Natalie to get picked up, and that's a great pick by the Smash.
Definitely.
Number 16, the Yeti, and we also called this one too. I'm giving myself flowers here, Vic, because I called this, I want to say 3 weeks ago, and then even when I said it to some other people, they were like, "Oh, I don't think he's getting drafted." And I'm like, "No, he's getting drafted." I was like, and it's Mikel Gamon for the Yeti. Returning pro, got picked up midway through last year by the Pronghorns and played insanely well. This guy is I want to say like right side counter puncher specialist. Insanely good player.
Nothing goes by him. Nothing goes by him.
And also insanely good in singles too. and just such a good player. And you can tell one of the reasons why they picked this up, because 2 years ago he played on the Brewers with Kyle, and him and Kyle had this really good teammate relationship where they were constantly subbing in for each other, right? Depending on who they were playing. If you needed a more defensive kind of specialist, Mikkel went in. If you needed someone with a little bit more firepower, Kyle went in. Then the two of them team up again last year for Team Canada at the World Cup, and were an insanely good men's team together, right? So it just, like, to me, I was just sitting there, I was like, okay, you already have Kyle, who's a left side player.
Yep.
If there's anyone you're going to team with who already knows Kyle inside and out, who's a really good right side player, it's Mikkel, right? It just, to me, it just made sense. And this, like I said, this is one of those things, and it's the running trend with the Yeti is, on paper, if you're just looking at Duper and stuff, him and Kyle don't necessarily look like a super strong team, but their compatibility and their ability to basically kind of cover the entire court allows them, if you're just, like I said, going on paper, allows them to punch up way above their weight class and take out some of these stronger teams, right? So that's a great.
We kind of seen last year during the playoffs. There's some I will say some games you're like, oh, they probably not gonna win, and there's like, oh, they pull it off. Okay, then you're like,
exactly, right, and like that's gonna. I want to say that's gonna be kind of the Yeti thing this year, and like I said, we'll get into it when we do the team breakdown. But they're gonna be like the perennial underdog. But then it's gonna start to be, you're still gonna call them an underdog, but it's gonna be no surprise if they actually win.
Yeah,
like win their game, right? You know what I mean? It's like on paper and in your head. Because I guarantee when they pull up like that Duper predicts thing, it's always gonna say the other team, right? Yes. But then it's like then you're gonna look at their record after, like, say, the first event, and they're gonna be like an over 500 team.
Yeah,
right. Is how I can see this happening. So that's a great pick by the Yeti. Mikkel's an amazing player. Super stoked to see him get picked again. Then we go to the Drive, and this trade they had gotten from the Lights, and once again, this was someone we were surprised that they were still available this low, right? And that's Brad Chapman. So 3 years in a row playing on the Pronghorns. It's the first time he's on a different team. First time he's on a team that has an owner. Right now, all the teams have an owner this year, but that was a perennial problem of the Pronghorns for the first 3 years. Multi-time gold medalist at Canadian Nationals, head coach at the Calgary Pickleball Center, literally like what we could say, like Captain Stoic, as far as like doesn't get super frustrated on the court, basically always in control. And like we always said, like, you let Brad Chapman do Brad Chapman things, and more than likely you're going to win, type of thing. Like, so
exactly.
That's a great pickup by the Drive, because now, and you also have Brad now can act as kind of like the elder statesman for like Evan Holinsky. And the other players, right? Because now you have this player with all this experience and can still play pro at an insanely high level and be one of the best players on the court all the time, right? So it's good to see. Like I said, we were surprised that he went this low. But then again, like we said, with the kind of influx of women going really, really high there, with teams stocking up, it makes sense now that you think about it retrospectively. But we were really surprised to see him go that low, because normally he's like top 6 pick.
Yeah, it should be pretty high. But at the same time, we saw the trend that they want to pick the female first. Is fine. And sometimes you're like, oh, they just forgot about me. Yeah, there you go. The other team's like, whoop, I will just snatch him.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then moving on to the 18 pick was the Drive again, and this one they got from Toronto United with as one of their trades, and they pick up Nicholas Tran. So once again, if you're talking Ontario, multiple APA medalists, teaches pro at Minneapolis Pickleball Club. Another great pick. He was picked. I can't remember who he got picked up for. Was it Toronto United or something like that? I know he got picked up by a team one of the last 2 years, I believe. Or if not, I've seen him so much on the APA's websites.
No, I think he haven't been picked up by any team, but I think he what was the word? He was at the APA. He was doing a lot of things for other players quite a bit. So right, I don't remember. I heard that he was a very like team guy. He's there for it. He's gonna help you. You need him for something. He's not going to hesitate to help you.
It's all good, but insanely good player. And like we said, in Ontario, like everyone if you say Nicholas Tran, everyone knows who you're talking about. And that's another great pick. Cause and then same thing. You got Brad Chapman, you got Evan, you got Nicholas. Now that's an insanely strong male lineup.
Yeah,
right. So now it's just figuring out if you're going to do a rotation, how you're going to figure out your rotation, who's playing what type of thing like that. So, really good pickup by the Drive. Like we said, they had to knock their picks out of the park when they traded the 3rd overall pick for the 10th.
Yeah.
Right. And going off what they've done so far, it looks really good. Now, like the season will, time will tell ultimately, but going with who they picked up, it looks really good, and it looks like they were well aware of who they want and where those people were going to land.
Definitely.
And then we come to the Montreal Lions, and it's like, okay, who are they going to pick? And are they going to pick someone who's actually going to sub in? Because the Lions are notorious for going with their 4 starters, and that's it.
Yeah.
But they pick up Michael McCaffrey, who, like we said, was one of the biggest snubs last year in the draft, right? Like, played CNPL for the Pronghorns in season 2. Insanely good player. And all you got to do is follow him on Instagram or TikTok. And he literally is like, if you want tips and tricks on how to play well, literally a machine when it comes to that. Trains like with Armand, with McConnor with pretty much anyone from BC area. McCaffrey has trained with them at some point or trained them type of thing. Right. And super stoked to see this guy finally get his due and get picked. Because like we said, he was one of my biggest snubs last year. I didn't know how he did not get on a team last year. So, so great to see that for Michael. And like we said, I'm interested to see if the Lions use him more, because it's like it's like if you're picking a player that strong, especially when he's on the other side of the country in comparison to the rest of your team, right? Like. I'm assuming you're going to use him. So it's gonna be interesting, because like that's a player you can sub in. Like, say if LC's having a bad match, or if Ernesto's having a bad match, that's someone you can sub in, and he'll mesh right in with either one of them, right? So that's a great pickup.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. He's going to be a super steady right guy. So basically, you can't either have Ernesto or LC on the left and just give a breather for one of the two, depending on the situation, and then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 20, the Rapids, and we loved this pick, Carolina Hack, four-year pro. On the original scored the winning point in the inaugural season for Toronto United to win the entire championship. Was on Toronto United every year. Did get traded last year and played on the Pronghorns and became an insanely good role player for them. There's 2 people who got drafted in this draft, and we said it wouldn't feel like the CNPL if this person wasn't in the league in Carolina, and Carolina is one of them. Insanely good player, insanely good coach. She actually not only played for Team Canada at the World Cup last year, but she also coached the junior team. Yeah. Right. So not only are you getting a good player, but you're getting someone who can help with development of some of your younger players, of some of your more inexperienced players, and just is going to be an overall insanely good teammate. And we're super happy for Carolina, the fact that she got picked. New team, new colors, but still right around the Ontario-U.S. border region, so doesn't have to travel that far for practice, which is nice.
Definitely.
Then the other person we were talking about, where it wouldn't feel like the CNPL without, drafted by the Lights. This was the original pick of the Drive, but the Lights got in a trade, and that's Corey Osborne. Once again, elder statesman of the CNPL. This is the other person with Carolina Hack, where we're like, it doesn't feel like the CNPL without Corey in it. Exactly. Not only is he an insanely good player, he is also an insanely good coach. He's probably one of the best coaches in Canada. Played for Team Canada for the senior team at the World Cup, scored the game-winning point in the bronze medal game to win bronze. Was a player coach for the Smash last year. And so not only was he coaching the team, but then he also got in and played some games for them and did not look out of place at all. We're super stoked for Corey. Corey's awesome. And like we said, not just like Carolina, it doesn't feel like the CNPL without him in it in some capacity. And the fact that he's a player and is going to be kind of like probably a player coach again for the Lights. It just makes the Lights that much better of a team right off the bat.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it makes so much sense when we talk to Michael about it. He's like, yeah, you need Corey as a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly right. Then we go to pick 22, and this is the Owls. And like with this pick, same thing. I was surprised this player fell this low because they're insanely good, and that's Eugene Ma. From BC. So the Owls have basically locked up all their players are from Western Canada with the exception of Kelsey Gambo.
Yeah.
And Eugene trains with Armand, trains with McConnor all the time. And this is like the ultimate. So if you got McConnor and Armand, who are basically kind of drive and powerhouse players, you now have the spin. You now have the spin master.
Spin and kind of like I would say spin and calm factor, right? He's actually had that very good calm factor, almost like Brad Chapman like calm factor.
Yeah.
So, and I would say he will be a great mentor for McConnor and Armand.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, 2 years CNPL, head coach at Pacific Pickleball Club. 2 years ago, me and Victor played a match against him, and and he made us look silly. Now I'm gonna say now, Eugene, I'd love to play you again to just show you how much better I've gotten, but you'll still probably kick my ass, no problem. But I felt like I didn't play to my potential in that game because it was like 11-1, 11-0. I think we're the back-to-back games with that. So
yeah.
But no, Eugene's an insanely good player, super nice guy, and he's just gonna the other thing he's gonna bring is good vibes to that team.
Definitely.
So yeah, so like I said, with the Owls team now, they're kind of stacked, men's and women's, and you can kind of rotate players as you see fit if you need to. So super excited to see how that goes.
Oh, that was a great pick.
Yeah, and then 23rd pick, the smash went with Xavier Richard. This is a young up and coming player, but super high level. I did a quick kind of. He was one of the few players I wasn't 100% familiar with, but once you do a quick kind of deep dive of him, you just see how strong of a player and for how young he is, how well he's performing already at the high levels. So, and when you have Ryan Torrenson and Mark Clemenson as like your elder statesmen on that team, he's gonna develop even stronger. And don't be surprised if he subs in a couple of games, in quite a few games to get those shots and perform well for that team.
Definitely, and we know I think Smash is picking picking Xavier up is because also first of all they saw so much potential out of him and think they want to develop him as a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of with the next pick. That's kind of the same thing when we're talking about the Yeti. The Yeti go with Jacob Pierce.
Yeah,
a former junior tennis player in Hawaii. Works as a Pickleball experience coordinator. Oh, he works at the Forge in Ottawa. Yeah. So, left-handed player, and talking to Brett Shepley, insane. Like if you're talking potential, insanely high ceiling for potential. And basically, Brett said like someone they really want to train up. And with when you have Kyle and Mikkel there, already guys who are very very team first oriented, they're going to be willing to get just envelop Jacob with their knowledge and stuff and just watch him develop. So don't be surprised. Same thing if you see him get in and use that tennis background to surprise a couple of people, because that's the one big thing about these some of these younger kids is not everyone's familiar with them, so no one knows their tricks yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So great pick there by the Yeti. Then we have back-to-back picks for Toronto United. They got the 25th pick from the Lights via the Drive, and they went with Michael Rizzo. So last year we saw Michael Rizzo get picked up midway through the season and played very, very well.
Yes.
And from all accounts, from what we've heard from everyone, he's just getting better and better and better. And also Toronto United also pointed out that he is very, very good, because Toronto United is one of the teams where they do a lot of like fan interaction where they go and play with a pro at like the malls and stuff like that. And Michael Rizzo was a part of that, even though he was on a different team last year. So you really see that with not only bringing in a role player to give people a break when he needs it, but you're also seeing someone who's going to be very involved with the community and growing the sport, which is another big thing that Toronto United is really good with. So, and we might as well move right to the 26th pick, also by Toronto United. They went with Tiffany O. Kind of the same thing from Michael Rizzo. You saw her get picked up late last year as well. She's board director for the APA. She was coach of the Northern Lights last season, but then midway through the season got picked up by the Brewers and played very, very well in her debut. Like her and Michael got picked up at the same time. So Artie, we know, an insanely good player. Same thing, very, very good with when you're working with the community and stuff like that. She's a very, very good role player, very, very good team player, as you can see, as you can tell from all the other things she's good with. And also the Toronto United is also one of the more social media savvy teams, and she's the chief marketing officer for the APA. So
there you go.
Someone who's going to have some fun ideas to swing by. Between her and Ricky, I'm pretty sure you're going to see some really fun stuff from Toronto United. But yeah, insanely good player, and that's going to be that's a very good addition to round out the Toronto United team.
Yes.
And then the final pick at 27 is Maxine Joy Chevier. Is that how I say that, Vic?
Chevrier,
sorry. That's the Anglophone to me. At least Vic is bilingual with French. So,
yep.
And this was someone who played very, very well at the MILPs that have been going on in Quebec. She's also trained by Ernesto. So this is someone you can bring in. Same thing, is kind of a role player. If you need a sub and stuff like that. Also plays with Emily, like we said, at the MLP and stuff. So one of the up-and-coming younger players who it looks like is going to be kind of like a developmental pick by the Lions. And I'm interested to see with these picked by the Lions with McCaffrey and Maxine. I'm very interested to see how much usage they get. Like, are the Lions going to stick with what's been working the last 2 years and only play their 4 starters? Or are you gonna see them use that substitution rule and use a little bit more of their bench a little bit? So there are a lot more. There are a lot more games this year, so we'll kind of see. But that's a great pickup by the Lions. Just looking at the MILP stats, she's been playing insanely good in the Duper 20 and up categories. So
yeah, definitely. She's been almost like she's medaling for sure. Most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's all the picks. There's only 27 spots this year with all the players that were re-signed. So before we get into the team breakdowns, Vic, a few other couple announcements. So CNPL renewed their partnership with Game Plus. Game Plus, it's going to be a multi-year extension to remain the official broadcasting partner of the CNPL. This year also, they have a YouTube channel which all of their live broadcasts will be on. So because our big complaint with Game Plus last year is that if you didn't have them as part of a subscription service, you couldn't watch some of the games, like especially if they were streaming 2 courts at the same time, right? So like I had Game Plus for free because I have a Telus satellite package, right? So I was able to record those games and watch that. Like for me and Vic, who can't always make it to live events because we didn't make it to one last year.
No.
That's a little hard when you're trying to analyze. when you can't want.
Yeah, exactly. Then I can only watch one. Well, which kind of works out because I tell Andrew, you watch the one on Game Plus.
Yeah,
I'm watching the other one on YouTube, right?
Yeah, and like if you were fans of certain teams, you had to wait like a week for then it to be posted on the CNPL's YouTube channel after. Well, now you can go to the Game Plus YouTube channel and catch the game live. So I got to assume when they're doing a double stream, I'm guessing Court 1 will be at Game Plus and Court 2 will be on the CNPL's YouTube channel. So if you're not following Game Plus on YouTube, make sure you follow that really quick if you want to catch CNPL games if you don't have the streaming them in as part of a streaming service package already. Right? So we'll let's start, Vic, as we break down each team. We might as well start with the Northern Lights because we also had a very special guest that Vic got to interview.
Yes.
We had Danielle Boss come on, and Vic got to interview her. So not only did we get to talk to Danielle about herself and her experience playing this CFL, we also got to get her reaction of her new teammates.
There you go.
So let's cut to that right away. So take it away, past Vic and past Danielle.
Welcome to a special episode of Pickleball Diary. We have I'm technically the co-host, but I'm the host today because Andrew is not somewhere in the oil rig, so he has no signal. So that's why he couldn't join the call, and I took over. So now I'm the host of the Pickleball Diary. I'm joined by a special guest, Danielle Boss from the CNPL team, the Northern Lights. Thank you so much, Danielle, to join us.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
So we remember last year. Unfortunately, we didn't know much about you until last year, and then we can see your play and everything is it has like you have like a steady rise, but like it shows like you belong to the CNPL team, and you are one of the very formidable female out there. So that was great, great to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, there was definitely lots of learning throughout the season, but I'm glad that with each event I felt like I got a little bit better. So yeah.
No. Yeah. So so how did you get into to pickleball?
My mother-in-law, actually,
Oh,
she,
nice.
yeah, one summer she actually took my fiance and I out to some outdoor courts. It was like asphalt. The nets were terrible. We probably had Amazon paddles. Like,
Yeah.
not great pickleball, obviously, but it was so fun. I was hooked.
Mm.
And then quickly it became winter time, and I would go out with her to our local Y here in town, and we'd
Mm.
play indoor pickleball. And
Nice.
I would go with her quite often. I tried to get my fiance to come out, and then I finally got him to come out with us. So, yeah, it's a big pickleball family. It's great. So everyone
Oh,
plays.
nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any like racket sport background beforehand?
No racket sports backgrounds. I grew up playing volleyball. I played Division 1 volleyball
Oh, nice.
in the States, but no racket sport background. I really wish I did though. That would definitely come in handy. That's for sure.
No, indeed, but at the same time, I think a lot of people with volleyball background did have a quite a bit of a success also right away, and we can show that a little bit like with your little bit of a volleyball background, like reset some of the smashes is so good because of the fundamentals of a volleyball player.
Yeah, there's a lot of transferable skills, that's for sure. Um, yeah, like you said, I love playing defense in pickleball. I feel like that translates a lot to pickleball, and
Mhm.
I love lob defense. I think that's probably my favorite defense to play. So
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm struggling on those ones. Unfortunately, I'll work on it eventually.
yeah.
We're there. How's feeling like being drafted last season? I know you have been like basically steadily playing before you get drafted last season. You're already playing on some of the event at the open division. How did you feel like obviously excited, but how did you feel like getting into like kind of like a team environment?
Um, I mean, I felt like you said, obviously excited. I felt very grateful that Michael Chow kind of took a chance on me in the draft because I know I
Mhm.
was pretty new, only had a couple of tournaments under my belt at the pro level here. But yeah, very excited, and I was really looking forward to playing with the members on my team last year, like Joelle, Lucas, Isabel, Graham, Aunt Marie Christine. Just
Mhm.
a great group of people on and off the court, and I think my teammates really made it a special season last year. Playing with Lucas was super awesome. Playing with
Nice.
Marie Christine was so fun. Just I really enjoyed the people on and off the court, and the team format. To go back to volleyball, it's like volleyball. It's a team, right? And I
Yeah.
really thrive in that kind of team environment. So I really enjoyed my time. Yeah.
Nice, very good, very nice. As you season you get along, basically, we know, and me and Andrew has been talking about as you guys are coming along, you get play better and better, and you're almost like the team we don't like anyone don't want to play against in the playoff because you guys are getting so much momentum and everything. How also I'll say that little learning curve from the start to kind of like all the way to the playoff is it a big learning curve or it kind of went steadily?
I would say looking at it from the end of the season, it is a big learning curve, but you are learning after each event. So I would
Hmm.
say that you are learning smaller portions, but at the end of it, it is quite a big learning curve. Um, yeah, I mean, my first event, it was I was nervous. I think everybody's nervous on the first event.
Yeah.
There's so much,
Oh,
jitters,
yeah.
anxiety, but yeah, each event I feel like I took home and I learned a lot. I've watched a lot of film on myself, no matter how painful it was to watch myself on film. I knew I had to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big learning curve. Just with looking at my play, looking at other opponents, what can I do better? What can I scout from the other opponents? Like there was a lot to learn, and I'm sure this next season there's going to be another learning curve for sure.
Definitely. Have you been watching all the films or that you play, or sometimes you'll be skip through that one? Maybe we'll just forget about that big one.
I think if I try to watch all the film, but if I think I know I made a really, really bad error, I'll probably just skip ahead, just 10 seconds. I don't want to see it. I already know what I did wrong. But no, I like to watch as much film as I can. I think it's such a useful tool. Like you can really see what you're doing when in the moment you're not aware of what you're doing. So yeah, I definitely like to try and watch as much as I can.
Nice. Follow-up question. Do you just watch the film, or do you also do a little analysis, or do you also use some sort of software like the PB Vision, something like that, to help you to break down like, oh, what I did right, or what did I do wrong on those shots, and how am I gonna improve my percentage or something like that?
Yeah. Last season, I just watched myself. I try to learn as much as I can about myself and about my opponents before I would play them. I think this season, I think it'd be super useful to try to use the software. I mean, all of the statistics that they can show you on there, like your kitchen arrival percentage and whatnot, I think is super, super beneficial and useful. So I think I'm definitely going to try to implement that into this next season.
Sounds good. Maybe tell Michael Chow to buy that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right. Right. Have him buy it. You're the team owner. You better do it.
Right.
Or ask Jason, whatever. One of the two.
Yeah. Either or. It's fine.
Exactly. Now moving on about this year draft just happened on Tuesday. Obviously, there's a little bit of change. Well, I'll say quite a bit of change because there's only you and basically Joel that came back. All the other four members are new. I'll say how do you feel about the draft? Do you have some influence to to Michael about that?
Yes, I would say that Chow values my opinion and what I ask from him. I wasn't stressed during the draft whatsoever. I think there's so many good players, especially this year, that I kind of knew that we would always get someone good, guy and girl. So I wasn't stressed, but I certainly wasn't ready, or not ready, but aware of the plans that Chow had probably 30 minutes before the draft. So I remember day of the draft, he calls me and he says, "Oh, what do you think about, Jess Kawamoto?" And I said, "Oh, I love Jess. We played together. I play against her all the time. We drill. Like, that's great." And he says, "Oh, okay, very interesting." And I was like, I don't know why you're telling me this. We're not going to get Jess. And he's like, "Oh, we'll see." And I said, "Okay, I don't know what's going on." So, no, but I'm super happy with our team. Obviously love Joelle. I love Jess. Louise, I've played with Louise maybe once or twice. The sweetest girl. She is amazing. I know she comes from a very high level tennis background, so that's going to be super awesome, especially in singles. So I'm super excited to play with her as well. Ben, nice. I know Ben does very well out here in Chow's tournaments. And then Corey. Who doesn't love Corey? He's so awesome. So I'm really looking forward to playing with my team, but also being able to hang out with them outside of pickleball too.
Oh, that definitely. So for people that just a quick recap what happened. Basically, the Northern Light was supposed to pick their first pick of the night, but they didn't do it, and we kind of knew something is happening on the background. Myself and Andrew, we knew about it because Jason did talk about us about that trade they're gonna make with the Smash, so to get Jessica Kawamoto. But we kind of when during the draft they didn't pick anything and they just skipped through their draft. So we knew, oh, there you go.
Mhm.
Something must have happened. And then on top of that, when the Smash actually picked something, they only we talked to the owner. They only mentioned about Anne Sophie. They didn't even mention about Jessica Kawamoto. So we're like, there you go. She's gone.
Yeah, happened so fast.
Yeah, exactly. So, kind of a little bit for follow up question now. Who would you be actually playing with best now with whatever your team had right now? So in in mix and in women's.
It's a good question. For women's, I would probably just say Jess now because I've already played with Jess. I know her play style. We've played against her a lot, against each other a lot. I've played with her a lot. So right now, I would say Jess. That's not to say that I wouldn't play great with Louise as well. I know she is an outstanding player. But I think if we got a little bit more comfortable and started playing with each other a little bit more, it would be great as well. So honestly, I would be really happy to play with either one of them. I think they're both great athletes. When it comes to Joel and Ben, I'm really not too familiar with Ben. I know he does really well out here, and I've heard from a lot of people how good he is. So I'm not too sure on his play style. I played with Joel a couple of times, obviously last season, and he played really well with Mary Christine. But I also think that I've gotten better since last season, so maybe Joel and I might be a good pairing too. But it's really hard to say who you're going to play better with when you haven't played with them in such a long time, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm looking forward to this first event when we have practice and we're able to kind of test out what works and maybe what doesn't work. But nonetheless, like I'm super excited to play with whoever it is.
Nice, you're very nice. Maybe one kind of one last question. Not last question. I'll go for the last after. How much do your team actually practice? Let's say before the event, do you actually like? Does Michael try to actually do some team practice, maybe like a month beforehand, a week beforehand, or just a couple of days beforehand? Usually,
Comparing it to last season, I wouldn't say most, but a good portion of our team was not here where the tournaments were played. So a lot of us wouldn't really get into town 2 or 3 days before the tournament, so we'd only have a day or two to practice together. This season, I think a lot of us are very close in proximity, so I think we could actually plan a date a month ahead if we wanted to and get together and practice versus trying to do it just a couple of days before the first event. So yeah, I think that's a huge positive with the team this year. Obviously, Joel's in Alberta, so he's a bit further. But everybody else is pretty close. So I think that's a huge benefit for us this season.
Okay, sounds good. Obviously when you can practice with each other more, the better. The better is like the chemistry, what your partner tendency and everything, right? So now
sure.
now come with the last questions. What did you see this year when where your team's gonna end up?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Oh man, the thing is, like this year the league is so strong. There's so many good players. Teams like United and Smash, they are stacked. United in singles is a scary team, and I would not want to see them in a singles dream breaker. But so many teams are so stacked, so many good players. It's really hard to judge where we would finish. Oh gosh, how do I say this?
How would you rank yourself? Let's say just for the regular season. I'm not talking about playoff because anything can happen. It's just one game and that's it, right? Or depending on format, we'll see about this year. But let's say, what would you anticipate you will finish at the end of the regular season?
I would certainly anticipate us finishing in the top half of the teams. I think we have a couple Well, okay. Louise and Ben are new to the league. And like I said, I think there's a learning curve when you haven't been in the league. So maybe it
Mm-hmm.
takes a tournament or two for them to kind of to find it.
Yeah.
But I certainly think by the end of the season, like we will be a top team for sure. I don't
Oh,
know
that's
where we're
great.
going to finish. If I am thinking positively, I'm going to say that we are going to win it all. If we're going to get the championship, we're going to finish first in regular season. But
Awesome.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
No, that's always a good attitude, right? You're there at the team is like, yeah, we're gonna fit. We're gonna
Yeah.
win it all. With is
Yeah.
that's the attitude to have all the time.
Yep, that's the mindset.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So don't forget to follow us on the CNPL. Seasons actually start, if not mistaken, in May. There's a couple of tournaments are already planned out. So don't forget to sign up on the CNPL website, and also it's gonna be on the Game Plus YouTube channel now. So it used to be just only on the Game Plus TV channel, but this year they're gonna put it also on the YouTube channel. So this time you're not gonna miss anything. You'll be able to see everything next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel Boss, for jumping on and chatting with Vic. Really appreciate your time, and that was an awesome interview, Vic.
Thank you.
So let's get down to the breakdown of the Northern Lights. So the team is Jessica Kawamoto, Joelle Pelche, Luis Kwong, Daniel Boss, Ben Davis, and Corey Osborne. This is a combination of, well, actually, honestly, no, it's a combination of elder statesmen and a couple of newer but still very experienced players. I don't think you're going to see this team get mentally rattled. Between Corey and Joelle and Ben and Jessica on this team, I don't see anyone. Like, the two youngest players are Luis and Danielle, and we've already seen Danielle perform at the high level last year in the CNPL. So
and
this
also,
team,
if you go through the interview, Danielle kind of know also how Jessica is going to play. They play together, they play against each other. They know their game pretty well, so they will be able to mesh up fairly easily, right?
yeah, exactly right. So the biggest thing now is, so if we're talking top four, I would assume Joelle Pelche, Ben Davis for the men, and then you have Corey Osborne doing kind of player coach and also being able to sub in when need be, right? The women on the other side, I'm going to assume you're going to start with Jessica Kawamoto, and then depending on what you want to do, this is where that substitution rule comes in, because I'm pretty sure you want Luis Kwong for singles if you go to a tiebreak. Right.
Yeah, that's
so the big thing is between Danielle and Jessica, who do you want? Because we've seen Jessica do really well at singles, and then we've also seen her kind of not do really well at singles, right?
Exactly.
So it's because of the style that she plays, right? She's more of a pick her corners and pick her spots than overpower, right? Danielle's got some more power. Obviously, the biggest thing with Danielle is a little bit less experience, right? But because she's training and playing with Jessica and all those other people all the time, don't be surprised if that's not really a factor anymore, right? So I'd almost be interested to see, like, if I, off the top of my head, and this is not what, having not seen any of these people play together, I would say Joelle and Ben as your men's, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see maybe a Jessica Danielle for the women's, and then you're subbing Luis Kwong in for one of them for the mix to just in case.
Just a relief kind of thing.
Well, as a relief, but more so also as a just in case you go to singles.
Yeah.
Right. Now, like I said, this is if you're using the substitution rule and they're playing it like that. They just might do the 4 and then they just might rotate each game, type of thing. Yeah. But there's no way all these women aren't getting in throughout a split. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't foresee any of those 3 women sitting on the bench for the entirety of a split. I can see them either rotating game by game or using that substitution rule to their advantage for some type of strategical advantage, right?
Yeah.
As far as mix, my first toss-up would maybe be Ben and Danielle and Joelle and Jessica. But that can kind of go either way. Jessica is an insanely good defensive and setup person in mixed. So
Well,
depending,
going by Danielle's word, I have a feeling she will go with Joel first because they have played last year.
yeah.
So I have a
Even though
feeling.
they didn't play really that much mix together, but they
No,
did
but
practice. They did do team practices together. So yeah, so because of the
exactly.
familiarity, you might do that. And then also with Ben also being from Ontario, he'd have a better chance to go, or not from Ontario, but closer to Ontario.
Yeah.
You have a better chance of him to go train. Well, he could literally train with
Both, like
Danielle and
all
Jessica,
three, all
both.
three, exactly.
All three, right? So you can. So Ben's got the advantage over Joel, where he can go train. But then Joel is Joel is such a strong pickleball mind. It doesn't take him very long to figure out what his partner's strengths and stuff are, right? So
Yeah.
So that's the big thing with the Northern Lights. So as far as the Northern Lights concerned, like they have a very high potential, and I'm very interested to see in strategic wise how they use their especially on the women's side, how they use their women's in their setups. Right.
Yep.
Like I said, are they gonna just have a rotation where it's like, okay, say Jessica and Luis are playing this game, Jessica and Danielle are playing the next game, Luis and Danielle are playing the next game, something like that? Or are they gonna do, okay, Jessica and Danielle play women's, then maybe Jessica and Luis play mixed, then that way you have Luis for singles if you go to singles type of thing, or maybe Danielle and Luis play mixed, and then you have both Danielle and Luis for singles type thing, like something around those lines. It's going to be very interesting seeing what the Lights kind of decide to do. And then, like I said, then you have Corey there, not only a mastermind coach, but also you can sub him in to play the right with either Joel or Ben, and be just as dangerous as either one of them on the court, right? So it's
definitely.
It's going to be very interesting to see what the Northern Lights come up with for that, right? So. Moving on, let's go with the drive next. The drive is an interesting one because it's one of the it's similar to the Yeti where there's potential, but if you look at them on paper, it's not necessarily what you would call the super strongest team. But like they said, if they come together as a team, they have the potential to very insanely punch up. Like you have Brad.
I don't know. I don't know. Like that's one of the team. I was like, I don't know until I see them. Because,
you have to see them play, because unlike the Yeti where everyone kind of knows everyone on that team, this is a team where, okay, you have Stevie, who didn't play with any of those players last year. Una has played in a bunch of stuff at APA, but how much has she actually played with like Alexis, Evan, or Nicholas? We're pretty sure Brad hasn't really played with any of them because, of course, Brad's over in Alberta.
Yes.
Right? Now you have Brad as the elder statesman and type of thing like that, so you can have him kind of help lead some of these younger players, right? But it's like this is like this team on paper looks like you have a lot of really good individual stats, but you haven't seen any stats of them playing together as a team yet. So this is the kind of one this is the team that has the most question marks around it. Because it's like, okay, are they going to come together quickly as a team and perform well, or is it going to take them like a split and a half or a split or two to kind of figure out, okay, how are our lineups going to work? Are we going to use the substitution thing? Are we going to go with just 4 starters? Are we going to have a rotation?
Yeah,
right?
I have a feeling it'll be one of the team that's going to be
you're going to see more experimenting at the beginning, I think.
Like big mix, mix of a matchup, and to just see who meshes well, who meshes not well. Like I'm not surprised they're gonna use all 6 players in the first split.
Yeah, like if I had to guess off the top of my head, I'd say your starting men would probably be Evan and Brad.
Yeah,
because you're going for experience, and also Evan like basically established himself as an insanely strong player by the end of the season last year, right? Like Nicholas is kind of the newest to like getting what you would call full starting minutes in the CNPL, right? For the women, though, it's even more interesting because you like Stevie, yes, played on the championship winning team last year. Alexis got better and better as the season went on, and then you have Una, who has been performing really well on the APA, but doesn't really have the CNPL experience. So maybe you go Stevie and Alexis first, sub Una in, and then you can kind of see how it goes. But like I said, I expect a lot more experimentation with this team. To start off and kind of see what meshes with what first. Because same thing, like for mixed, I have no idea, to be honest with you. Like what your main mixed teams would be, who's going to team with who.
Yeah, it's tough for the moment. We'll see. As the season starts, we're going to see how they're going to mesh.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So let's
And
move on.
I think
Yeah.
at
Oh,
the
sorry.
same
Go ahead.
time, I think it's good this year because the pick is a little earlier this year, so they have more time to work before they actually gonna play in May, right? So they almost
Yeah.
have like a good 3 months and a half before we start playing. So they have
Yeah.
tremendous amount of time to work their magic, and then maybe play some APA event during that and everything, so they can test their lineup right away.
Yeah, exactly. And also there's more events this year, so you it's not as you don't have to figure out your thing as quickly this year as you had to last year, because
Yep.
there's extra events this year, so you have more games to kind of figure it out without letting yourself fall too far down the standings if your first combination doesn't work out. Right. All right, so then we move on to the Yeti. So same thing, like we said earlier. So this one has Audrey, Tara, Mikkel, Jacob, Kyle, and Ava, right? So Kyle and Ava played together last year, so you already have, Kyle, Ava, and Tara all played together last year. Audrey played for the drive last year, but Audrey has played a crap ton in Ontario with Tara all the time, has played with Ava. Then you have Mikkel and Jacob, who are new to the team, but Mikkel plays with Kyle all the time. They played on the Canadian World Cup team together. Like the player with the least experience on this team is definitely Jacob, but we knew that going in when they announced the picks, saying that this is kind of our development project, but this kid's really good. The upside on this kid's potential is insane, right? So, um, it's gonna and it's I'm gonna say between the three women, you're probably gonna see a rotation because all three women are kind of even with how they play. And I'm gonna go with it's gonna be Kyle and Mikkel to start with Jacob kind of. I think they're gonna weed Jacob in slowly. They're gonna kind of get him used to practicing with everyone and then kind of go from there, right?
Definitely. Yeah, they already said, like you said, so she's going to be a developmental player. So they would just give him a little bit time, see how everything mesh up before they start going to start him into the lineup. Probably have a feeling. Probably if when there's a 2 day event, they probably start him the second day, right?
Yeah, something like that, or like the last game on the first day type of thing.
Yeah.
Where they're or and if it's against opponent, maybe they notice an opponent's been struggling, so maybe they go, okay, this is maybe more of an ease-in game. Like we're not going to start you against, like say Ernesto and LC type of thing, right? Like
right off the bat, there you go.
right off the bat type of thing. But yeah, if I had to guess a starting four, and I think they would go with this more so just for compatibility right off the hop, you're probably going to see Ava and Tara, Mikkel and Kyle, and then you're going to have Audrey kind of sub in. And same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this team use the substitution rule because like Terrier's really good at singles. Audrey is also really good at singles. Ava's not too bad. Like she played decently well, but she had more ups and downs at singles last year when they went to tie break. So I think they're going to kind of play it by ear, and they're also going to see who meshes the best. Say, for example, with Kyle, who meshes the best with Mikkel. And then who messaged the best as a pair? Like obviously Tara and Ava have the advantage of already played together in the CNPL at that high level. Yes, and Audrey has played with Tara and Ava on other events, but obviously CNPL with rally scoring is a little bit different. So maybe they figure, okay, this is our mixed group, then these are our two, and then these are our women's group, and then okay, how do we want to do this substitution to make sure we have the top two females for if we go to tiebreak type of thing, right? So the Yeti bot, as far as compatibility goes, is like it's like almost a 10 out of 10 of all these
Yes.
players know each other, have no, like you're not going to see like an ego thing where they're all going to get mad at each other if someone gets more minutes than the other. It's more so going to be, okay, which which grouping works the absolute best, or which setup yields the best results for them, and then how well they basically kind of super punch up when they face some of these teams where, if you're looking on paper, have like the super high level players, right? But don't
Yeah.
be surprised if they're in every single game and then pull off what some people would consider an upset, and then that becomes the norm for them as the season goes on.
Yeah, I have a feeling. So they might prove me wrong, but we'll see. They like the first split. I would put them almost like they're gonna be probably the top three. They might gonna end up on the top three, but the problem is how they're gonna be able to sustain that momentum, because the other team might gonna get get uh, get things figured out. then they might gonna struggle against those teams, because now the teams does not need to figure out anymore. They know their lineup, how they're gonna play against you, or which matchup works better than the other. And now maybe the Yeti will have a little bit more difficulty trying to counter some of the other teams.
Yeah, it's basically going to come down to consistency, like who can if they can maintain consistency and be in every single game. If you're in every single game, there's always a chance to win, right? So, and I find that's going to kind of be their trademark. They're going to be in every single game. It's now whether or not they can get themselves over the hump in some of those games, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of those teams that they've played 12 matches and 9 of those have gone to tiebreak, type thing. Right, like I could see them being the Northern Lights of last year, where the Northern Lights I think went to more tie breaks than anybody else.
Yeah.
In the season, because they were in every single game, they just had trouble finishing off and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Yeti do that. Now, whether or not they win the tie break is a completely separate issue, but I would not be surprised if you see them in every single game with a chance to win. It's just whether or not they actually put together the win.
Yeah.
Right. But they definitely, as far as team compatibility goes, they're probably one of the top teams as far as everyone plays with everyone. Everyone knows everybody. So you're not going to have to worry about a chemistry issue.
Yes.
All right. So let's move on to the Rapids. So this is another team where on paper, this team looks insanely good.
Yes.
Now, how many of these people have played together is bidding. On the women's side, we're not as worried because Marie-Christine, Antoinetta play together on a regular basis. I'm pretty sure Carolina plays with them or at least against them in some capacity on a regular basis. And also Carolina is very adaptable as a female player. It will be more so Bruno and Lucas and Darren figuring out that side of things, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
And Bruno's an insanely strong player. I'm assuming he's going to take the left. Lucas played primarily left side last year. So I'm interested to see who takes left, who takes right on that men's team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we haven't seen, like I said, same thing. Like you said, none of those players had, well, except Antonetta and Marie-Christine played with each other. The others doesn't seem like they had played with each other before, or even against each other. So you're like,
yeah,
how's gonna be how they gonna match up, right?
This is kind of the toss up with taking a U.S. player who hasn't played with one of your Canadian counterparts, and I don't think Bruno has played with Lucas.
I don't think so. I haven't seen.
As far as I don't think Lucas has gone down to the States that much to play. I remember when we interviewed him last year, he hadn't gone down very often.
No, even this year, I don't think I saw him play that much downstairs neither.
So yeah, so like if you're looking at potential, this team has high potential. It's now it's now figuring out chemistry.
Yeah, how are you gonna match up?
So that's the big thing. So this would be one of those teams, like I would almost imagine them being similar to like the Owls last year to start the season, where it's like when they're on. They're on and they're really hard to stop, but then, not being used to each other, communication errors, you could see them also losing games that maybe on paper they shouldn't lose, type of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like next to the drive. This is the second. Aside from the drive, this is the only other team where there's a bunch of question marks around more so the chemistry of things than the actual like skill level of the players, right? It's how quickly this team can come together and mesh well to perform properly, right? So that's going to be the interesting thing here with the Rapids, because Bruno insanely strong, Lucas insanely strong, Marie-Christine, Antoinetta, Carolina Hack, Darren all really strong, but aside from Marie-Christine and Antoinetta playing together, nobody else has really played a consistent amount of time together on a team at this high levels. Now, these are pro players. We expect them to, make adjustments properly. Yep. But even in pro sports, chemistry is a thing.
Yeah.
Right. So this team's going to be interesting to watch. Like I said, like skill level wise, they're right up there. It's going to be how well they come together is the big thing with that.
Oh yeah.
All right. Our final 3 teams, and the reason why I left these for last is because they are 4 teams, because they are very, very interesting. Let's start with the Smash. So the Smash men's, I'm not worried about chemistry.
Yeah,
Right?
it should be
'Cause
fine.
Ryan and Mark play together a lot and have performed really well together a lot. And one's a left side player, one's a right side player. It's basically more so figuring out, okay, who is going to take middle because they're both used to dominating the middle.
Yeah.
Right? And Sophie is a 2-time back-to-back champion. And we've seen her ability to play with a different partner each season because she's played with a different partner each season and still performed insanely well.
Yep.
The big thing is Anne Sophie still going to get the left side?
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
Abika's an insanely good player, and I'm not 100% sure if she's a right side player in women's or if she's a left side player in women's. Right? We know Natalie's a right side player because she's a lefty.
Yes.
Right? So that's going to be kind of the big thing there. And then same thing, Xavier is a young up and coming player. I'm assuming basically he's going to be kind of like the reserve more so for Ryan and Mark. Because same thing, Ryan and Mark are both insane. Yeah, they're basically very good singles players as well. So I don't see on the men's side of things them utilizing the sub as much unless someone's having like a bad game or if someone's maybe under the weather or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I would say the woman's side probably more because now you have Natalie as the lefty that can just shake up the things a little bit more, and then I will say now depending on how Anne Sophie and Albika who if they're gonna play each other, who's gonna play left or they're actually gonna interchange with Natalie basically.
Yeah, like do you have maybe say Anne Sophie and Abika play the mixed, stick Natalie and the women's next to one of them.
Yeah.
So then you have your definite left side, you have your definite right side, and then now it's all okay. Who's playing singles? Well, you definitely if you're having Natalie play, very good singles player. Anne Sophie, very good singles player. I haven't seen Abika play enough to know whether or not she's an insanely good singles player, but I'm assuming because she's playing such a high level at pro already, her singles have to be at least pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But this is the smashes more so we're kind of gonna see. Okay, we know the men's team is going to be super strong to beat. I'm assuming the mixed teams are going to be very, very good as well because both Ryan and Mark control the court very, very well in mixed.
Yeah.
We know Anne Sophie though is also one of those female players in mixed where if you let her, she can also come in and take over a couple of rallies in mixed as well and overpower the teams because she's got such good power with that, right? So I'd be really interested. I'd almost, if anything, I'd stick Anne Sophie with Mark because then you have Anne Sophie on the left, Mark on the right. So then you're allowing Anne Sophie's forehand to every now and then step in and cream a couple.
Yeah, that's true. That'll be interesting.
Right? So I'm interested to see how they go with that. But yeah, like same thing. This is a team with massive upside. It's now figuring out like I said, more so for the mix and the women's side of things, how well these teams mesh together. Because we already know Ryan and Mark already have that built-in chemistry. So now it's like okay. How well does the rest of the group kind of mesh together, right? So, like I said, don't be surprised to see them at the top of the standings. Also, don't be surprised maybe for the first one or two if they don't quite figure out their rotation yet to see them kind of middling in the middle of the pack to begin with. But by the end of the season, once they figure everything out, don't be surprised if they're competing for those top spots.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. And then we move on to the Owls, which basically, let's just say Team Western Canada. Because literally everyone except for one player. So you got Kim, Anna, Armand, Kelsey, McConnor, and Eugene. And we kind of already said this when we were going over the draft, but Kim and Anna practice together, play together all the time. So that's already, I'm going to say right off bat, that's probably your starting women's doubles team. Oh. Now, the big thing is where do you put Kelsey in? So I'm assuming obviously Kelsey, because she's such a high level player, is obviously probably really, really good at mixed. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if you use her there. And then it's like, okay, we know Anna probably is getting the nod over Kim for singles play. Now it's whether or not Kelsey or Kim, which one of them, the two of them, is better at singles, right? Because if you're going to use that sub, because with with these three women who are such high level, there's no way you're not using all three of them. Maybe if you don't do the substitution thing, they're going to rotate. Yeah. Right. I do not foresee them not using all three women all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you do the substitution thing, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kim and Anna as the women's pair, and then you put Kelsey in for one of them for the mixed, and then you just make sure your lineup works properly for singles if it goes to that, right? For the men's side of things, one mixed team already works. It's Armand and Kim, right? So and then for your men's, like you have Armand, McConnor, and Eugene. I would say probably Armand's not going to sub out, and you're probably going to have McConnor and Eugene kind of rotate there, right? So I'd be interested to say maybe you do Armand and Eugene for men's, and then maybe sub McConnor in for mixed, to make sure you have McConnor and Armand in for singles.
Yeah.
Type thing like that. Or some type of combination like that, right? So like I said, and the big thing with this is all three guys train and practice together. Two of the three women practice and train together. They're all within relative close distance of each other, so having a team practice is not out of the question at all. The biggest thing is exactly where Kelsey is coming out of to get her in for team practices.
Yeah, exactly. And how she's going to fit in those matchups is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be I wouldn't be surprised. Same thing if you kind of see a little bit of an experiment to some extent the first split to see, okay, how are we going to handle this lineup, and then it might just come down to okay, who's performing at the highest in these certain positions. Because I wouldn't be surprised if you see them try any combination of mix of women's teams first, even though you can fall back on Kim and Anna. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Kelsey try out with Kim, if you see Chelsea try out with Emma, and then you see, okay, which mixed teams work the best. Yeah. Right. And that's okay. Now, how do we make that work so then we have the best possible lineup for singles if it comes to that? Right. So same thing. This team has, I think, a lot better in, like, if you're comparing it to the Smash, more players know each other and have played together. So you give them the slight edge on team compatibility to at least start the season. Yeah. But it's also, and then the big thing, I think, with the addition of Eugene, that is a calming presence for Armand, because we said Armand kind of lives and dies by how his shot's going, right? So if you have that calming presence, and that's the other reason why I think you might see Eugene go beside Armand in men's, to give that kind of calming presence, right? Yep. So yeah, and like I said, so I would put the Owls kind of a little bit higher than some of the teams, just because, like I said, Kim, Anna, Armand, McConnor, and Eugene all are kind of really well aware of each other and what everyone's abilities are. So I can see them being able to mesh a lot quicker than some of the other teams, right? So that's where I would kind of stick them there. Then of course you have your reigning defending champions back to back, the Montreal Lions, Ernesto LC, Christina Ariana, Michael McCaffrey, and then Maxine. I think we're gonna go with the obvious. The starting four is Ernesto LC, Christina, and Ariana. It's gonna be Ernesto and Christina playing together. They're back to back defending national champions as a mixed team, right? So it makes no sense to split that up. So Ariana and Luis Charles will play together to start. How much Michael McCaffrey and Maxine get in is going to be an interesting story to follow as the season goes on, because like we said, the Lions are renowned for only playing their starting four. And like we said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because they're back-to-back champions. One more, and you got the three-peat, and you got the official dynasty title, right? So it's more so that the biggest interesting for them for me is, are they going to use their subs, or are they going to use their
how much Michael McCaffrey is going to come in,
and do they even bring them, because they were also known for not even bringing their subs last time. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you bring Michael, because Michael's also an insanely good coach. If you bring him, maybe you don't play him, but are you going to bring him for his eyes? Yeah, maybe. Right? Could be. Type of thing. Yeah. And like I said, Michael's no slouch. Like, you could easily plug Michael in there and he's not going to not perform. But it's, like I said, right now, over 2 years, the Lions' bread and butter is we're playing our four, and that's what we're going with. We're going to try and just overpower you from the start and let the chips fall where they may. Yeah, I know. And like I said, they finished first overall the last 2 years. They've won the whole thing the last 2 years. So it's kind of like their formula is not it's until you prove otherwise, the formula works.
Yeah, I know.
But like we said, there's more games this year. There's more splits. So, like I said, do you bring the subs just to give a break if need be?
Yeah,
I know
you have
these.
more
I know
split
these.
one.
I know. I think Michael McCaffrey is the oldest player on the team, because like I think everyone else is still in their, if not 30 yet, they're in. If they're not 30 yet, they're like in their 20s. So I don't think. I think aside from Michael, I don't think anyone's even remotely close to 35. So
Yeah.
so it's like it's a young team full of really high level athletes who are constantly competing at high levels. Like Christina was just in Australia playing. Ernesto was down in the States playing again. So it's like until they prove until proven otherwise, I'm gonna assume they're going with their four. And I would say out of the two, Michael and Maxine, I say Michael has the best chance of getting in.
Yeah, Maxine
I think
probably just
I think
come in
Maxine
as
is going to be a development thing in the and she trains with Ernesto, right? So
yeah,
you might
exactly.
you might see her say like at least Ernesto will make sure she's ready if they're
Mhm.
going to put her in. And if she goes in, I'm feeling she'll play with Ernesto as a safety blanket for mixed.
Yep.
Right. And that might be a thing. I don't know if Maxine's good at singles or not, but maybe that's someone you sub in, get her to play with Ernesto and mix. And then if you think you're going to go to singles, then she comes in for singles, right? But I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see. But I got a feeling we won't see her as much. We might see McCaffrey come in. But like I said, until the Lions show otherwise, I'm going to assume it's Ernesto, LC, Christina, and Ariana playing majority. I would say at least 90% of the games.
Yeah,
Right.
I do agree with this.
Yeah, unless they come in totally surprise us and use the substitution method like we've been
I
talking about for other
I
teams,
really
but we'll see.
I highly doubt.
Yeah. And then we're gonna go with the team that's made probably the best trade and the best possible pick they could make, Toronto United, who honestly, like after this, like I said, on paper, probably the highest rated team on paper right off the hop. And you have three returning players. You got Max, you have Maria, you have Matt and Jada. Oh, sorry, you have Matt, Max, and Jada
Max.
returning.
Yep.
And then the pick of Maria Kokolitsky to add to that is just insane. Tiffany and Michael are going to be, I would say, more so very good subs. Probably if someone needs a break more so than anything. I don't see them doing the substitution rotation. I honestly think they might pull a Lions and you're going to see the starting four play majority of the games.
Yes.
Just because with powerhouses like that, I don't and this is not a shot at Tiffany and Michael, but the level, the high level that starting four is at, unless someone is injured, I don't foresee you making a sub there.
No,
You know what I mean?
Me neither. Yeah, they probably just saw how the Lions was doing these couple of years. They just say, you know what, we're just gonna do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, but I can still like Tiff, and with how good of a coach Tiffany is, I wouldn't be surprised if you have her. Because Toronto United always brings all their players, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see Tiffany and Rizzo on the sidelines, strategies and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't foresee them getting in as much as like what other teams are going to do. Like Toronto United and the Lions are the two teams I think you're going to see majority of the games played by their top four players.
Yes.
Right.
And if people has remember my interview with Ernesto, like Ernesto already said, the more game you play, the more momentum and the more used to how used you're gonna play on the court you'll be. So therefore the easier you're going to be able to continue to compete at the same level. So that's I think that's the reason of just using four, because then you're never going to be cold. You're going to be always hot all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And some people need it. Other people can stop and then come right back in and be good. Like it's a combination mindset, right? Like I know I'm very similar to Ernesto. Like I like to keep going. I don't like to like, and it's funny because I did play basketball where you'd make substitutions on a regular basis, but like which is complete opposite of what I'm saying now. But as far as how I've played pickleball, I like to keep going.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like I would rather like when we play MILP and we have like the men's, the women's, and then the mixed. If we're only using one court, I would rather go men's than my mixed match then go men's, have the other mixed match go, and then have mine type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I like kind of feeding one into the other type of thing.
So yeah.
But yeah, so that's the teams. We kind of did a breakdown of them. Now I guess Vic, we can do our way too early predictions.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think this is the hardest season so far.
It's gotta be it's not gonna be easy for sure.
No. So let's okay. So
I have something already in mind.
You have something in mind. Okay, I'm gonna let you go first.
Do you want me to? Okay, so let me go from down to all the way up. So let's go.
Okay, starting at 8.
So starting at 8, I'm putting the drives because there's so much of a question mark. They might prove me wrong, but there's so much question mark at this point for me. Now the 7 and 6 is actually interchangeable. I have a feeling. So this I would actually put this 7 the Yeti.
Okay.
Because and same again, I said they might prove me wrong, but I was like, yeah, they might start strong, but I have a feeling the other team will catch up super quickly to them, and that's going to be not going to be easy. And then the 6, I actually going to put the Northern Lights. And if you actually heard during my interview with Danielle, I will say that technically top 6 are fairly close together. We just don't know how they we just need to put something out of those out in those number. But I'll put Northern Light as 6 at this moment. 5th is gonna for me is actually gonna be the Grand River Rapids. A little bit of same thing because there is quite a bit of question mark at this point. Now 4th, I actually gonna put the Owls.
Okay.
And I'll put the Smash in front of them, so 3rd. Then you know who's gonna be 1 and 2.
I'm gonna say you're gonna go Toronto United 2 and then Lions 1 because you are biased.
Yeah, exactly. You know that already. I'm friendly with Ernesto. There's no way I'm not gonna put them number 1. Right?
No, I could see that. So I'm probably gonna agree with you for the 8th and 7th. Like I said, I think they're gonna and it's funny, I'm thinking reverse of you for the driver, in my opinion, like how you said the Yeti are going to start. I think the driver are going to go reverse. They're going to start a little bit slow because they're going to have to figure out their lineup, and then I think they're going to pick up as the season goes on. But I have a feeling it's because there's only 8 teams. Someone's got to lose. I got a feeling they're just going to be on the short end of a couple of games, but they can still even once you get to playoffs, they could still I think they could still knock off whoever's number 1. It's more so I think they're going to start the season a little slow just because they're trying to figure out their lineup.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm going to have the Yeti at 7 as well. Kind of the same reasons. I think I'm going to say they're going to be more consistent throughout the season. I think they're going to start fairly strong, but then they're going to maintain that level. And then they're going to be like the Lights were last year. Like they're in every single game, and it's whether or not they pull out that win. But because that's a 50-50 toss up, I'm sticking them at 7, but they could easily be as high as like 4, in my opinion, type of thing. Right. And then I'm actually going to put the Rapids at 6, and it's more so same thing. I think it's comes down to how quickly they can get the compatibility on the team going, because like we said, them and the driver are the 2 teams that have the least amount of experience playing with each other. Right. Yeah. And the one up that they have on the drive though is that they're at least 2 of their women's have played together before.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So, and then also, and Bruno is the big wild card there because we know he's insanely good and I've seen videos where he can like take over a game on his own. But the big thing is he can only play in 2 of those out of the 4. Right. So that's the big thing there. So that you might see the 2 games Bruno plays in, they win, but then can the other 2, can the women's and then the other mix kind of pick up the slack, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if same thing you see them maybe go to a bunch of tie breaks at the beginning of the season. Now by the end of it, they might work up by But just because the next couple of teams are already, I think, more cohesive, you're going to see them go on runs and maybe build up a lead that not necessarily the Rapids can catch up to.
Yeah.
Right. They might win, but I think the other teams are going to kind of win with the same consistency, so they can't really gain ground on them. Right. And like we said, there's only 8 teams in this league, so someone's got to lose games because there's no ties. Right. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the season where you see an insane amount of tie breaks. Because of how close, how close of all these teams are, right? I'm going to put the Lights at 5. So basically, I just rotated your 6 and 5, and you kind of said they were interchangeable. But I'm giving the Lights the edge on this just because I think they are more compatible to start.
Gotcha.
Right. And that's the big thing with that. Because the thing I'm not worried about is Joel being able to mix with a partner.
Gotcha.
Because he's proven over his entire CNPL career, it doesn't matter who he's playing with, they figure it out stupid quick.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have Jessica Kawamoto, you have Daniel Boss, you have Luis Kwong on the men's side, and Ben Davis also. Like we said, that was the biggest surprise of how far he fell.
Oh yeah, I know.
Right. And then you have Corey Osborne's mind as both a player and a coach on there too. So I think the Lights are one of those teams where I think the same thing, they're going to start off hot. And then it all depends on how, if they can get a big enough gap, then when everyone's about the same, whether they've built up a big enough of a lead to kind of maintain their spot, or if they kind of just between 50-50 games, if they drop down. But that's why, like we said, I'm in the agreements with you, 6-1. If someone has a hot streak, it's literally interchangeable. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Like the Yeti, and like I said, the Yeti for me are going to be that team where they're in every single game. They just might not come out on top, but I foresee a lot of tie breaks in their future, and whether or not they win those is the question. And then, like I said, the Drive will probably get off to a slow start, but then I think they're going to be in the same boat as the Yeti. They're in every single game. It's whether or not they win that 50-50 tie break is the big thing for me.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to differ with you again here. I'm going to have the Smash at 4.
Okay.
And go more, and same thing. It's going off of the women's compatibility. We already know that Mark and Ryan are an insanely good men's team, but it's the women figuring out each other. And then also figuring out what are you going to do for mix. We already know Ryan Tornson's a very good mix player, but now he's got to figure out how to play without Jessica Kawamoto. Because playing 2 years with the same person in CNPL, you're used to their tendencies, and you already know they're going to take this ball, they're not going to take this ball, they're going to let me have this. Like they didn't even have to communicate who was taking what. You know what I mean? Now he's got to figure that all out over again. Now they're insanely good players, and they'll figure it out quickly. But I think that might slow them down enough at the beginning of the season that these other 3 teams are going to jump ahead of them, and then it's just going to be kind of like they're maintaining the lead, and everyone's kind of the same after that. I'm going to put the Owls. We're going to have the same top. We're going to have the same top 2.
Wow.
But
at this point.
the Owls I'm putting there, the only thing that's really not making me have the Owls put further is just the it's not, I don't even want to say it's inexperience, it's the youngness of the men's, at least who and because of how because Armand last year, it was very, like we said, win spectacular fashion, lose in spectacular fashion. I think Eugene, and the addition of Eugene and Kim especially, are going to be, because Kim's also a very, very calm player. You don't really see her lose her cool very often in games. Yeah. I think that's going to be, if they can help Armand stay in that like high level intensity, but not go too high where he starts overcompensating, and not go too low where he's not playing well. I think that'll be a deciding factor. I don't think McConnor Dye is going to have an issue with that. Just from watching him play, he doesn't seem to get flustered at anything. Right. So the big thing for me is they have the potential to be first. Like we said of the Owls last year, they had the potential to catch the Lions last year. It was just it was that up and down thing. So if they can maintain that, they can easily jump to first. Yeah. And I think the addition of Kim and Eugene and for me, Kelsey is kind of the big question mark, because we're not as familiar with her, and how they utilize the insanely strong 3 women that they have. That's going to be the big thing for me. If they plan well and perform consistently, I could easily see them jumping into first place.
Yeah, it's going to depend on how, I would say, the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah, Exactly. And see, this is the hard one for me. I think 1 and 2 are literally interchangeable here because you can't even really give either of them the advantage in compatibility
Yeah,
because
they already it's proven already.
they've all kind of played together. Like the biggest, I think I'm gonna throw the. You know what? I'm gonna probably stick Toronto United 2. The only reason why is because Maria and Jada haven't played together
Mhm.
as consistently, whereas the advantage that the Lions have is Christina's played with Ernesto and consistently won on the national level.
Mhm.
And Maria and Christina's consistently played with Ariana.
Sure.
Right. So I think that's kind of two already ones where you don't have to worry about chemistry, and also Ernesto and LC play together all the time. You don't have to worry about chemistry. The only question is Ariana and LC, right? And so the big thing with Toronto United is you already know Matt and Max play good together. You already know Max and Jada play good together. So that's two. But then the question is, okay, do Matt and Maria play good together, and do Maria and Jada play good together? So if I'm going compatibility wise, Lions have 3 to 2 on the Toronto United just on compatibility. If you're going paper, I'd probably on paper give the edge to Toronto United, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm putting compatibility into it, it's probably I give the slight edge to the Lions. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the two of these jockeying for first place.
Yeah.
The entire season, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to like 1 or 2 wins.
It's gotta be tight.
And if we're gonna jump all the way to playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the two of them back in the finals again.
Yep.
Like going off of paper and going off of what we were just talking about, like compatibility wise, like the Smash, like going down all the way. I said, okay, if we're gonna do compatibility, going all the way down to 5 with the Lights, and then so 5, 4, 3, they have the ability to upset either the Toronto United or the Montreal Lions. But if we're going off of compatibility as the main factor here, Toronto United and the Lions have the slight edge on all 3 of those teams.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it comes down to execution, and it comes down to how well the team comes together as a team and is able to play off one another. Right. So like I said, if we're going compatibility, I give Lions the edge of a 3 to 2 over of what's been proven. Right.
Yes.
Toronto United could come in and Maria and Jada are like unbeatable, and Maria and Matt are unbeatable, and I'm like, hey, nope, there you go. They have the 4 to 3 advantage, right? But it's so yeah, I'm gonna go Toronto United 2, and then Lions 1, and it's literally like a hair in the difference. Like I said, I had to break it down by compatibility with that, and that's it. So
and I almost want to say this is our prediction for the regular season, because the playoff could be a little different.
Playoffs is a toss-up. Well, we saw like because Owls finished, what was it, they were in number 2 and they fell all the way down to number 5 at the very end, at the last split of the season. And then same thing, we saw the Lights go on a tear. They couldn't get higher than I think it was like 6th because of how far they were behind.
Yeah,
but then they upset it. Then they upset a bunch of teams.
Right,
and almost made it all the way to the finals. Like they were in like the B-side finals against Toronto United.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So like yeah, I think this year a lot more than like any previous year. I want to say, and this, it seems like we're crapping on the Drive and the Yeti, and it's more so just because it's unproven potential for those two. Right.
No. We and at the same time, it's like you never know until the season starts.
Yeah, until the season starts. That's why you play the game. If it was always decided by what's on paper, you wouldn't have to play any game ever.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the Oilers would have 2 cups by now if it was decided what was on paper, right? So
there we go. Yeah, there we go. So for it's just for us, it's for the moment. We haven't seen anyone play. We haven't seen anyone playing how they are each other. It's just our like our our feedback for at this point. Are they actually that bad? No, not at all. Though all those players are insanely good, and it's just maybe at the end of the day, who meshes well with against each other, and that's the game of pickleball. Like if you're If you some of the guys remember when I talk to Jacob Bakawi, is like when you're like around that 4-5, 5-0, 5-5, 6-0 level, anyone can win. Actually, is you go into a hot streak, you can beat anyone at that point.
Yeah.
But are you able to maintaining that hot streak? Then that's distinct you which level you are.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's kind of our predictions for this season. To, like we said, way too early predictions, and we kind of and the nice thing is this year, Vic, with all the events that the CNPL has planned for this year, we actually are able to kind of look at where we can kind of come in and then make another like mid-season prediction out of this, right? So
yes,
because if I look at here, so first event is May 9th and 10th. So we got the regular season opener, then we have the Western split May 23rd and 24th.
Yep.
Eastern split 6th and 7th, mid-season events June 27th, 28th. So I would say probably mid-season event after that, we go back and like do almost like a power ranking type of thing, right? And then you have the Metropolitan split July 18th and 19th. You have the Central split August 8th and 9th. August 11th is the trade deadline. And as we saw last year, sometimes the trade deadline can turn a team's season around or at least try to change stuff, right? Because I think 2 years in a row now, we've seen acquisitions and stuff happen at the trade deadline that have changed the face of some teams, right? And then you have the regular season finale August 29th and 30th, right? So, so I think we got our way too early predictions. And you know what? Actually, I think what we can do is I would say maybe every second. I'd say after, because the regular season opener, we can do like a power ranking there, because all the teams are going to be playing each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And then mid-season event, we do another one, and then obviously regular season, the teams rankings are going to be there, but then we can kind of do playoff prediction based off of matchups.
And this is going to be interesting because the season finale actually coincides with the Canadian Nationals. So because I was going to bring that up next. So if you're in the market to try and get a medal at Nationals in the open category, this might be the year to go in, because it's going to be a little bit watered down, because the top 4 teams in mixed and in men's and in women's are not going to be there, because they're going to be at the regular season finale. And I find this, I know we bashed on Pickleball Canada a lot. Like, I like some of the things that they're doing. I don't like some of the other things that they're doing. But this was announced back in October of last year. October 8th was the official announcement of the CNPL season. We already know that Pickleball Canada doesn't really pay attention to that. Like, they didn't even help with the assembling of the World Cup team, or even assist with like financing of getting that team to the World Cup. Yeah.
However, you have enough pro players that go to nationals on a consistent basis. You have Ernesto, you have Christina, you have Cam Layton, you have Anna Deshenko. You like literally think of all the top players in Canada. They all go to nationals because they understand how big of a deal nationals is.
Yeah, I feel a little disappointed.
Now because nationals decided to say, well, screw it, we don't care. And I bet you if you ask the people organizing nationals, they probably didn't even know about it.
Well, they probably don't even know what a CNPL is.
Right. So that's the disconnect right now with Pickleball Canada. They're not paying attention to stuff that's happening with like outside of their own little world. Right.
Yeah.
But on, like I said, on the flip side, if you are say, hey, I want to go for a 4-5 or an open division medal, because I don't be surprised if a bunch of the 4-5s stick themselves in the open, thinking, hey, this is my chance to win. So if you're like a 4-5 who maybe, you're winning consistently on the provincial level, but like, when you go to nationals, you're in tough, you might all of a sudden have a little bit of an easier of a skate to go get a medal at 4-5.
I have a feeling a few people is already tempting. It's like, oh yeah, let's go.
And with the bonus of it being at actual pickleball facilities in Ontario,
it's gonna be in 2 pickleplex, and which is perfect, right? They're indoors. There won't be any. They won't have any delays. Now, who's the person that's gonna be running now? His name.
I forget his name, but this is the gentleman I was talking about who actually had to drop out of his men's doubles.
Yes, exactly.
To fix the issues that Nationals was having last year.
Give me a second. I'll get his,
Yeah,
his name.
well, Vic finds his name, but yeah, this is the same gentleman from Ontario who, when we did the Nationals recap last year, I said this guy dropped out of his men's doubles event to come in and fix the issues they were having.
Right, Hines.
Yes, exactly right. So he's the one actually running the event, so you already know it's going to run smooth. He's well known in Ontario for being insanely good at running well-run events.
Yeah, he's the one who run the, if not mistaken, was the True North Pickleball, and he has been running quite a bit of tournament. Before he was all across Canada, and then he just they limited themselves more into Ontario, and they still run so many tournaments. And if you just mentioned the name Ryan Hines, everyone will say, yeah, it's going to be a well-run tournament. Like you definitely need him to go for the tournament. So I'm sure those tournaments, like, you won't have like a massive delay. He's going to fix it. Don't worry. He's going to be on it all the time.
Well, yeah, and the fact that like it's in a pickleplex, so you're not going to have to worry about. It's going to be permanent nets. You don't have to worry about spacing because Pickleplex is very, very good at spacing their courts.
Yes, exactly.
And we know from experience of going to the Pickleplex in Red Deer, and because Pickleplex is a franchise, they have certain stipulations that you have to make sure your courts are proper size. They're not just jamming courts in there to fit as many courts as possible. They want them all to be tournament-worthy courts.
Exactly.
Right. So
it's going you're going to have a much better. I will say this year you're going to have. Like for people that has experienced the other nationals tournament, I will say this year you're gonna have a much better experience, like a good player experience and everything, rather than getting crammed into that tennis facility. Now you're gonna have proper spacing, proper tennis pickleball court into a proper facility, and you're sure it's going to be well run because Ryan's going to fix every problem possible.
Yeah, exactly right. And like the other big thing is, like I said, aside from the only negative is the pros not being there, or majority of the pros not being there.
And that's the thing. I just like, and if you some of the people have heard one of my last interview with Steve Deacon, and that was the biggest complaint is Pickleball Canada does not first of all recognizing that much the pro, and secondly even providing funding to the pro events. They have to basically pay on their own dime in order to kind of progress in their journey, and that is something unfortunately that we're way behind the United States. First of all, we don't have enough tournaments as the US has already, and we don't have as much players that we should have, like that's at the higher level for those players to compete in, and they have to travel all the time to the States. You look at Ernesto, you look at all like Christina, they have to travel all the time to get their better tournament. So it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, so the big thing is, the only other thing is obviously because it's in two different locations. Now, for us Albertans, they don't appear that far away, but you have to remember this is in like Toronto proper greater area, so traffic is a gong show in Toronto. I'm very curious to see if they do a shuttle from one place to the other. So say, because I'm assuming they're going to have one place is going to be kind of like 3.0 to 3.5, and then it's going to be like 4.0 and above at the other place is what I would assume.
Let me check quickly, see how quick how far they
when I checked last time, they didn't look that far away. But this is like for you and me, Vic. I think it's like the equivalent of maybe doing like say like the hub in St. Albert to, I want to say, no, because even those are super close. I'd say the new Edmonton Sports Center to like maybe the EPC. Like
maybe
distance wise,
maybe
distance wise, not traffic wise. I'm talking about like actual kilometers.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
so I'm thinking like 15 to 20 kilometers. They're apart, maybe.
Is that they're actually 11 kilometers apart? So
not even. So it's not. But then traffic wise, because it's like we said, it is a major metropolitan area. Like it's
It's
just
not. It's not too bad. It's actually not too bad. It's in the north of Ontario, of Toronto. It's like
Yeah.
it's from the north of the 401. So that's already a good thing. So
Yeah.
you're not south of the 401. You're south of the 401. Just forget it. Nothing's gonna get around for an hour. I think the biggest issue, because you're gonna it depends on how stuck you're gonna be on the 400.
Yeah. Right. So like what I'm wondering is are they going to do like a shuttle from one to the other? Because I know the big, I know the biggest thing that Pickleball Canada does thing, and I do actually like this, is that they want to make it an event where everyone can kind of watch everybody play.
Mm-hmm.
Like as participants, like they didn't broadcast anything last time, but that's not what they were going for. They wanted to make it kind of like can be a gathering where everyone, you go play your 3-0, but then you can also go watch the 4-5, 5-0s play.
Mm-hmm.
Type of thing, right? So I'd be really surprised if they don't do some type of shuttle system between the two. Also, if you're one of those players now, because they're using Duper now, you're not going to see this as much, because like with CTPR, you could have been like a singles. Well, actually, no, because put it this way, like I played 4-5 for everything except for singles. I played 3-5 because my Duper and my CTPR for singles was only like a 3.2, because I don't play singles that often, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that'd be an interesting question. Now, obviously, my stuff would be on different days, but say if I was playing men's singles and Irene was playing women's doubles, more than likely I'd be at one location, Irene would be playing at the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, hey, if I finish mine up, can I get there to go watch her play? Is the big thing with that, right? Now, realistically, this year, more than likely, if I went to nationals, I'd be playing 4.0, because I'm sitting at like a 3.9 now, so that's close enough to 4 that. If I want to be a dick, I could play 3-5, but I just won nationals last year at 3-5, so I'm pretty sure I can bump up myself up to 4-0 after that. I'll probably get my ass handed to me, but still, because Vic knows I'm like, the way I play singles is a lot. I would consider myself very similar to like Jessica Kawamoto. I pick angles. I don't overpower you, which it worked really well for me at nationals last year, because everyone I was playing was a ground stroke person, so I forced them to come up to the net, and then I basically kind of did full court dinking and beat them that way. Yeah. But if you run into someone who can do both, then you all of a sudden get your ass handed to you pretty quickly. Right.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things. And as you get higher up, the guys who have good ground strokes also have very good footwork, so they can get up to the net if you do a really good drop shot regardless, and then a lot of times can make you pay, because now they have the whole court to hit to, right? So and my footwork is good, and I'm lanky because I'm like almost 6'1".
Yeah, you're long, but
I can switch hands, which also allows me to cut down my footwork, but because I still wish I had someone was there to record, but we weren't allowed any spectators. But I literally went coast, like in the one game, the semifinals, I went coast to coast like 3 times in the one rally, literally right hand, left hand,
nice.
Right hand, left hand, and managed to stick out the point. But I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm doing that against someone who's like a 4-0 consistently, because they're probably hitting that ball a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah, well, like
Right?
if you play against Armand or McConnor, I think they're gonna
no.
They're gonna
Well, that's open though. I wouldn't be playing against those guys anyways. But yeah, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like me and Vic are also debating, because as far as we know, that season finale is more than likely going to be in Vancouver. So me and Vic sit there. It's like, well, did we want to go commentate that and get lots of good interviews and stuff, or does Vic want to go get paid to ref at nationals, and do I want to go play at nationals? Right. So
yeah,
because it's really kind of only going to be one or the other. It's not like we can do both, right? Now, there is the Western split, which I assume is also going to be probably in Vancouver. I don't really see it being hosted in Alberta anywhere, because unless they put it at the Pickleplex in Red Deer,
or the 3-on-5.
The only reason why I'm saying Pickleplex Red Deer is because that's Joel coaches there, so they have they have an in right now. Also, Kim coaches at Mega Court, so they technically have an in there. I don't think any pro on a team coaches at 315, but depending on how well CNPL and Tracy Bennett still get along, because Tracy Bennett's the head pro at 315, they might be able to do something there, right? So yeah, 3-1. Like mega courts in 315 would be better as far as for athlete travel because they're right in Calgary and you would just fly into Calgary, right? Red Deer, the biggest thing against Red Deer is it's about an hour's drive. It's about an hour and a half drive from the airport.
As well is like in May, so it's fine. Come on.
No, yeah, well, and like most of the time they're just renting a car and doing a shuttle thing anyways, so it's not a big deal, right? But
it's fine. They can just an hour. It's like you're stuck in an hour traffic in Toronto all the time. Like, come on.
And the other thing is Pickleplex already has a really good rapport with the CNPL through like Kling and stuff like that, right? So
exactly.
So that's why I would say if it does come to Alberta for anything, for like say the Western Split, it's probably going to be Pickleplex in Red Deer, or it's going to be one of those two at Calgary. In Calgary, and those, like I said, those two might get the edge due to travel reasons because it's just you say you don't have to really rent a vehicle, you can just grab an Uber or something from the airport, and then you're do an Airbnb or whatever, and then you're at the facility, right? So
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes, and it also depends on how this weekend coming up goes because it's our MILP 3V. Because if me and Vic's team wins, I'm more than likely going to go to Singapore, so that uses up 1 week of my annual leave. So, so then I really got to play fast and loose with my time off and my last week of annual leave because I know Irene was considering going to nationals, and I said, well, first of all, it's Toronto. That's an expensive flight. 2, I said that's definitely going to be my other week, so then I'll have no annual leave left for the rest of the year, and then I got to be really careful with my PTO. So it's going to be interesting. I told her, I said, okay, no other getaways. Now, mind you, that doesn't stop her from going somewhere because Irene's actually in Arizona right now playing pickleball at a tournament with Anya. So
there we go.
So I was like, yeah, thanks for taking me, honey, and leaving me here in this desolate, cold weather. Right. So. But it is what it is. So yeah. So I think that's it for this episode. We'll probably be back. Probably I'm going to say a week or two, Vic, because we'll go over our MILP, how that went. We also we'll talk them up right now. We have 2 more MILP events coming up. We have our Red Deer one, which is the 4-person team, 2 guys, 2 girls, on March 14th and 15th, and then we have another 3V at the Egg on April 18th, but this one is a mixed 3v3, so it's 2 guys and 1 girl on the team. So you play 1 men's match and 2 mixed matches.
Yeah.
Same format, rally scoring, players stay on the one side, usual thing. And of course, they're all qualifiers for, as I was just saying, the Epic World Championships in Singapore, because that is April 30th to May 3rd. So technically, if you didn't qualify in this next one coming up, or at the Red Deer one, you still have the Egg one. It's literally like 2 weeks before the event.
Yeah.
But you can still technically qualify for it, right? So we did unfortunately have to cancel a couple events for this one coming up. We still had an insanely good turnout for the one category. For the men's was an insanely good turnout. So super stoked for everyone who signed up for that. Me and Vic need to bring our A game now because we got 9 teams in our division.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough.
but it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be fun. So So make sure you guys hit like, subscribe. Make sure you follow. I'll put the link to the because by the time this comes out, registration's probably going to be closed for our 3V at the Hub. So I'll have the registration links in for Red Deer and for the Egg. We're probably going to hold it there for now for our MILP. We're probably going to come back in like September or October just because it's getting so we honestly don't have time in May because if I go to Singapore, that's a week gone. Vic's got different dental conferences to do in that month. So just as far as organizing, we don't have time. So like, cause people were asking, oh, are you going to do one in May before like the full season starts? It's just like with Vic being away, having a young kid, me possibly being away. And also there's my kids have other stuff going on. So we probably won't, or we just said, you know what, let's not try to force it. Let's let it be. We'll go through the regular outdoor season and stuff, and then we'll probably come back in September. We're looking at a couple places. We're looking at possibly going back to Red Deer again, and then also we've had 1 or 2 different facilities to look at for Edmonton as well. So we'll see how we'll see how our turnouts go for these next couple of events, and we'll see also which versions we're going to do. Like if we get an insanely good turnout for the team, and everyone's like, oh, we like the team one better than 3V, we'll probably make them team ones. If everyone says, oh, well, we like the 3v3 mix better, then we'll probably do that, right? So it all depends on the feedback we get and stuff like that, and we'll kind of go from there. But we got some fun sway, we got some awesome sponsors, and I'm going to shout them out right now. Skechers has been unbelievable for us on MILP. Not only do we have a 25% discount,
you want to get a shoe for free. There you go. You better get in.
We're going to be giving away free shoes. Now we're going to have a prop shoe to hand for pitchers, but it's going to be a code to get a free pair of shoes from their online shop. So big thank you to Skechers Canada for that. We got Neil Brothers for the first event. Hewer Foods, Nature's Path is back with us again for snacks. Franklin, of course, for the balls. Anivia, my guys, Kitchen Blockers. We got some more glasses to hand out. Yola, we got bags from Yola.
There you go.
And stuff like that. So for the Red Deer one, we got our Northern Lights jersey here. We got a couple of these that we're going to give out, and of course Joel's going to be at the Red Deer one. So if you want Joel to sign it, right? I want to see someone go up and ask him to do it, just because we were talking to him when we were down there playing. He said he was very uncomfortable with that. So because he doesn't think he's that there, right? So I'd love to see someone win and then walk over to Joel with a Sharpie and say, "Hey, can you sign this for me?" So that would be awesome. So. But yeah, so that's, like we said, pretty much it for now. Like, we'll come back, we'll do a recap of MILP. Also, if there's anything, any other news that comes up, I have a rant planned for that episode as well, which we'll get into. And I won't go full details of the story behind the rant, because this has been a rant I've had for a little bit now, but now I actually have a thought process on how to kind of solve the issue. And I might message Duper about it and say, hey, here's an idea. Type of thing like that. You never know, we might go viral with that rant fix. So
maybe we'll see.
But yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you on the next one. Like we said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to sign up for MILP.
Yes, definitely. It's a little longer episode, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.